Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are back for this early kickoff, lunchtime kickoff. West Ham United versus Tottenham, a big London derby, one of many this season. The Hammers looking to go one better than earlier in the season when we went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and picked up a relatively decent 3-3 draw, I guess, in the circumstances. We are running a little bit late, so we're going to go straight into the teams. My hellos to the team, our own team, of course, first of all, to Rio and to Gnome.
Morning.
And to the Palermo under the boomerang once again. Indeed. And we're going to go straight into the teams at the London Olympic Stadium now. Gnome, what have we got as far as West Ham and Tottenham are lining up?
Well, a couple of changes for us. Possibly most welcome, the return of Antonio. And Fornals also comes in with Lanzini and Johnson dropping to the bench. We line up as follows. Fabianski, Soufal, Diop, Dawson, Cresswell, Souček, Rice, Bowen, Lingard, Fornals and Antonio. On the bench, we've reverted to the tactical ploy of having two goalkeepers again. We have Balbuena, Benrahma, Lanzini, Alves, Noble, goalkeeper number 1, Martin, goalkeeper number 2, Randolph, Johnson and Odubeku. Tottenham line up as follows. Lloris, Tanganga, Sanchez, Dyer, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Ndombele, Moura, Lamela, Song and Kane. I won't go through all their subs, but I would say they do contain one ex-Hammer in the form of Joe Hart. Referee today is Craig Pawson.
What's the verdict on Mr. Pawson? Gnome, are we looking forward to a well-refereed match this afternoon?
Potentially, he's one of those just sort of mid-ranking. He's not an attention seeker, so there's no Oliver or Dean. So let's just hope he's on his game. Okay. Yeah, I noticed Dean had a nice quiet reintroduction yesterday again.
Oh, did he? Well, talking of yesterday, I just wanted to ask you very quickly about Mr. Kavanagh at Anfield. What a breath of fresh air to see a referee go to the sidelines, having been told to review a decision, look at it once, and say, "I'm sticking with what I went with."
He had a 2/3 good game. I thought I'd have liked to see the yellow card for the dives that he obviously knew were dives. You saw him waving at Salah and Mane a few times, waving at them to get up. Mm-hmm. Which, after obvious dives. When the BBC, which is usually sort of almost Liverpool's in-house broadcaster, starts taking the mickey on their text commentary, it's a dive. There was a comment to the effect of Mane goes down again. I said it was very windy here at Anfield.
Yeah, I saw that. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. So we're hoping for a decent performance anyway from Mr. Paulson this afternoon. Let's have a quick look at our teams now. Rio, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Good morning, mate. I'm fine, thank you very much.
Excellent. Quick word on the t-shirt before we carry on. What are we wearing today?
Black Tusk, Savannah, Georgia's finest. Lovely bit of sludgy, doomy metal. Can't beat it.
We've both got American today because I've got Discipline, American progressive band that I saw in Verona in Italy a couple of years ago.
I thought that was referring to your Saturday morning pursuits, but anyway, we'll ignore that.
Not with this back, mate. Not with this back.
Rio, looking at the teams today, any surprises in what you see from West Ham there?
The only surprise is Antonio being fit to start. I think he's going to be key to our potential success today. The biggest point, him being his ability to hold the ball up, so he doesn't keep firing back at us every 3 minutes, which is, with the calibre of Son and Kane up front, is something we really need to do. We need to hold on to the ball, bring our attacking trio in behind him into play as much as possible, run the channels, get in behind them, attack and destroy.
Any thoughts on Pablo Fornals coming back into the team? I mean, he's been missing for a couple of weeks, but he's in there with Lingard today, so that'll be interesting to see how those two pair up.
Yeah, as you know, I'm a massive fan of him. It's his work rate that does it for me. And I think that's the key today as well. His ability to work, his running, his insightful passing at times.
Mm-hmm.
He offers something a bit more discipline than Bowen does, particularly against the calibre of opposition we're against today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really delighted to see him back in the side, running his heart out for us.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Ben Rama on the bench again, of course, and we're back to the old 2 goalkeeper rule. I see with Randolph and Martin both being named. No, Ryan Fredericks in the squad, of course.
Yeah, Fredericks being out's a bit of a surprise. I thought Moyes might have been tempted to start him, akin to the kind of thing we did at Villa, where we doubled up on Grealish with Soufal and Fredericks.
Yeah,
I thought Ryan might have had a shout today, but it's a bit of a shock. I mean, he's a goal-scoring genius at the moment, so why is he not there? I can't presume he's injured. As for the keepers, got more keepers than London do at the minute, so you might as well use them.
like it. Pinky, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent.
Only concern at the minute is my passport's only got 5 months left on it. And I think there's going to be a hell of a queue at the passport office to get new ones. And I would urge all West Ham United supporters, check your passports. You might need them next season. And if we win today, I think the odds on that will shorten and shorten and shorten. So big game for us here today. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that. It's been a good weekend for West Ham, hasn't it? In terms of matches, Liverpool losing to Everton and Chelsea being held by Southampton, and a real opportunity for the Hammers to push on and back into the top 4 this afternoon.
Yeah, and it's the classic. Do you know what? You've got to win your own games. It's very nice when other teams help us out, and because Lord alone knows we've helped plenty of other teams out over the years. But this afternoon, Tottenham Hotspur are not having a vintage season. I mean, by any stretch. I mean, I'm monitoring the Fighting Cock this afternoon, one of their sort of fans' websites. They're putting on what I call the brave face. We'll beat this lot from East London routine. But you can almost smell the fear. You can smell the desperation, because they know if we win today, not only is their season stone dead, they're probably looking at having to change manager again at the end of the season. And I think the only thing that could save Mourinho, if we beat them today, is the fact that Danny Levy doesn't have the 30 million quid to pay him off. And what a wonderful position that is for West Ham United supporters. You're looking at Tottenham Hotspur stuck with a lame duck manager because they haven't got any money to get rid of him. So the job today, I don't care if it goes in off Antonio's backside in the 92nd minute. I don't care if Pablo Fornals shanks one from the halfway line and it's a fluke over the top of Lloris's head. I don't care. 1-0 will do. Just get the win, because never mind what it does for us, it totally destroys Tottenham Hotspur's season, and they know it.
Yeah, they certainly do. And of course, if West Ham, it's a huge game in terms of the Premier League and also our positions. West Ham, of course, if we win today, we'll go 9 points clear of Tottenham. Tottenham can close that gap to 3 points with a win. So a huge game in terms, as Pinky says, the rest of the season. Pinky, you're not sporting a specific T-shirt or band today, but I do believe you've got another little bit of memorabilia which you can bring to the table.
Fan mail. I was giving my considered view in recent games on Mr. Issa Diop, which I'm not the biggest fan of his. Of course, as soon as I said he was rubbish, he popped up and scored or something like that. So somebody has sent me a mug with an exchange of WhatsApp messages on it, where I'm basically saying Diop is not very good, but a word, not that word, if you get my drift. And then you must be watching a different game, followed up by Willie's bang one in, pardon. And then this just dropped to the letterbox. So thank you very much. And if you're watching, enjoy.
There you go. So 5 mugs for your entertainment this afternoon, as opposed to the usual 4 on Eyes Up Mother Brown. Gnome, good to see you, buddy. We've already met. Of course, you've read the teams. Tottenham rested Harry Kane in midweek, but you've been watching him play a little bit lately, and you're a little bit concerned about the certain aspect of his play, something that referees don't appear to be picking up. Of course, I'm referring to, the way he backs into defenders. Explain it for everyone, please.
Yeah, it's well, not just defenders, but it has been sort of garnering a bit of talk in football chattering circles, where a player going up for the ball in air and the player's in mid-air, and he'll come in. It's the sort of equivalent of rugby tip tackle. It's very dangerous, and he's had a habit of doing that. Now, I haven't seen it over the last week or two, I'll admit, not that I've been following him that sort of closely, but maybe somebody's had a quiet word and said, look, you're a bit lucky to be on the pitch with one or two of those. But it is something to watch out for. Let's hope somebody's eradicated that from his game, because, we all know he's a decent player. I mean, whatever you think of the Tottenham and all that, but it's just the side to his game that is not very pleasant.
Yeah. What do you make of that Tottenham team today? Of course, they played. Was it Thursday night? I think they played, wasn't it? So they've only had 72 hours rest. Poor little things. But any surprises in there for you?
Not really. Obviously, Kane was going to come straight back in. There was some talk that, having beaten Austria's 7th best team or something, that Bale might get a start. But just before we came on air, Mourinho was on there saying, well, Bale's nowhere near starting a Premier League game, which gives you some idea of what Mourinho thinks of the Thursday night stuff. I wasn't expecting to see Bale start. And Kane obviously was, for a game that isn't apparently their cup final, resting your best player for it seemed a bit of an odd choice. But,
yeah, very much so. Gareth Bale, you touched on Gareth Bale there. Of course, he was touted as their saviour when he came in on loan earlier in the season.
Saviour? He was going to win him the league. Yeah, he was going to win him the league. That's the final piece of the jigsaw. This is it. And he's managed to do what pretty much everyone does at some stage or another in their life: fall out with Mourinho. And there's an interesting article I read somewhere. I don't quite remember who wrote it, where it was now, but it did point out that Bale sometimes has a habit of picking and choosing his games, and the infamous photograph of him after a good training session was one of these things where he hadn't wanted to play, and had felt some tightness in a muscle, and it definitely needed a scan. Well, the scan showed nothing, but rather than do a proper hard-working training session, he said, I think I need to work with the sports scientists, guys, and just to make sure that this tightness is nothing more serious. So whilst everyone was running laps and whatever it is they do these days, he was sitting in a nice warm physio centre and doing stretches and things like that, rather than any hard work. So when he put up this, I've had a good hard session Instagram thing, I think it was, Mourinho said, well, yeah, there's that photograph and then there's reality. And he promptly went on to explain. So
he does have a habit of falling out with players, doesn't he, Mourinho? And I think Holberg was one of his latest issues. Ali, of course, Ali early in the season. But anyway, we'll move on from Tottenham. Let's quickly. The players are coming out, so let's go around the table and have everyone's predictions before we start. Rio, let's begin with you. West Ham United versus Tottenham Hotspur. How do you see it going this afternoon?
I've got to admit to being incredibly apprehensive again. Not because we're not playing well, it's because Tottenham are so awful, and their record against us in recent years at the London Stadium has been so good. I'm just expecting a little bit of negativity, and the early Sunday morning start might catch us out like it normally does. So I am going to go for a narrow defeat, unfortunately.
Okay, give us a score.
2-0 to Tottenham.
2-0, says Rio, to Spurs. No, what are you thinking?
I've gone all over the place with this one over the course of the week. Tottenham is sort of side that they've been so poor of late that we, one of those sides that we could easily end up losing to. Question of attitude. We go into this like we did the Liverpool game, another not very good side that we made look good. We'll get beat, but I think they should be looking at this and saying, we're doing well. It's Tottenham and they're not. Let's get at them.
Yeah.
We do that. We've got Antonio back, so there's that little bit of swagger about us as well. I'll go 2-1 to us.
Excellent. So that's 1 win and 1 defeat so far. Pinky, what do you reckon?
Today's the day we move Jose Mourinho a stage closer to becoming West Ham United manager. Because, you know what, on the journey that he's going on, from, I don't know, Porto to Chelsea to Man United, all the rest of it, eventually he will end up at West Ham United. Kind of like, just pictures him a hobo sort of like sleeping rough on a park bench and the phone rings in his pocket and it's David Sullivan on the other end. But our fancy is to win narrowly today. It won't be. It'll be a tough competitive game. I think we'll just shade it, and I'm going 2-1 as well. But this will be a hard-fought victory, and we're 1 player short of our best starting 11, in my opinion. I've got a doubt. It's a centre back. You know where the doubts are. But if he plays well, then I think we'll win 2-1.
Excellent. So Rio going for a 2-0 defeat. Gnome and Pinky both going for 2-1 wins. I'm going to do my usual thing and sit on the fence. I can't see West Ham keeping a clean sheet today, but I think we're pretty prolific at the other end as well, mostly. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, not quite up with the game earlier in the season, which, of course, we haven't even mentioned yet. I'm sure we'll come back to that at some point during the afternoon. But anyway, so a couple of wins and a defeat and a draw. Looking at what we're off. The game has begun. We'll come back to that very quickly. Just looking at some of your predictions. Richard Van going for a 3-2 win for West Ham. The cyber leader going for a 3-1 victory, and Polaroid going for a polarised 3-1 defeat. Hellos also to Dan, to Neil, to Hobo, to Metal in both legs, Andy Welsh, AD Star, and everybody else, Richard, and everybody else joining us on the stream. West Ham on our TV screens, as they used to say in the old days, kicking from left to right, I believe, Gnome. And yeah, as you say, we are underway.
Yeah,
Should we do a time? Should we have a time check?
Yeah, 39:40 seconds now for me.
Okay, guys.
I'm with Gnome, so
I'm nowhere at the moment because I haven't got my stream. I'm on 25 seconds, so yes, a bit of a difference as usual in my via the web stream. As I said, West Ham kicking from left to right. In front of an empty stadium once again. And good to see Rio, the Hammers on the attack anyway, straight from the off.
Yeah, we always want to start positively. Don't want to start slowly against these lot. We're kind of force your presence, get in their faces. And we started by winning the throw-in, which is fantastic, We're buzzing. But as we speak, we're just trying to slot a through ball through. It's snuffed out. We've got to be really clever in our approach play today. Really getting behind their defenders. Their fullbacks are quite strong today. It's the centre halves really got to try and exploit because they're a definite weakness, definite weak point. Just like to point out, there's a post on the forum this week in the match thread. Arla, he's pointing out our record against, it's not the big six, it's the money six he's citing. Played 8 this season, drawn 2 and lost 6, no victories.
Yet.
Yeah, of course. That's a charge, Rio, isn't it? That's often aimed at David Moyes, is that he has a really poor record against the perceived bigger teams in the division. Why is that, do you think? Is that sort of a reluctance to have a go at them, a tactical thing, or what do you put it down to?
I think at the start of the season, we actually did go for it. We did really well against City. He was unfortunate against Liverpool up at Anfield. Very unfortunate at home to United.
Guys.
So Tottenham were trying to in our box, but snuffed out. And Soufal's fed it to Bowen and we're on the attack. Yeah, I don't think it was lack of intent for a change.
Yeah.
The only time that I could actually point that finger at him was the actual Liverpool game. Well, a lot at stake. We could have forced our way into the top four again. And to be honest, we choked big time. The rest of it, I just thought was a lot of misfortune. You know, we've got the Emirates, we got to Anfield, and we got defeated both times. But it wasn't for lack of effort or ability or trying. You know, just that one performance at home to Liverpool has been the real blot on our copybook this season for me.
Very much so, very much so. Well, let's hope the Hammers continue to have a go today. Gnome, the 3-3 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium earlier in the season. How much of a psychological boost do you think that will give West Ham going into this game, if any at all?
You never know with these things. I mean, it'll be, for the supporter, of course, it's a great big boost because we can always just point and laugh at it. I don't know how much these things prey on professionals' mind. Just as the ball's played forward, Antonio's at the edge of the box, holds it up nicely, turns, makes himself a bit of space, back to Bowen, outright to Soufal now. So West Ham pushing a little bit now. Soufal needs a bit of help here. Sort of nutmegs the defender. Bowen now. Bowen gets crossing.
Oh, get in! Come on!
We have a goal. What a start. Talk us through it.
Lloris not covering himself in any glory there. Some good work down the right, and it ended up with Bowen playing a teasing cross. One of those ones where the goalkeeper doesn't know where to come or go. We're just looking at it now again. It's good work from Bowen. It's a lovely cross in. Antonio gets a slight touch on it. First, it hits Lloris. Straight back to Antonio, who buries it. He's buried it from about 6 inches.
Pinky, you said a few minutes ago that you wouldn't mind if Antonio scored the winning goal off his backside in the 93rd, 94th minute, whatever it was. Well, he's just scored one that's not quite off his backside, but, from the same school of finishing, I guess. After 5 minutes, what a start. What a start.
Great start. And Gordon was just saying there about he wasn't sure what stayed in professionals' minds. You were discussing the 3-3 draw.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain that certain things stay in professionals' minds, and one of which is they are terrified of Michail Antonio.
Yeah.
The Tottenham supporter has him down as our danger man, and I think most of the Tottenham defenders would have him down as our danger man. And they're right to, because you know what? We said it earlier in the season. He's willing to go in where Seb Haller wasn't, where it hurts. Get your boot on it. Get something on it. Doesn't matter what. Get your Big Willie on it, if need be. And that's an Antonio reference in case youngsters are watching. He's done what he needs to do, and he's taken his chance. It's 1-0, and terrific stuff from Michail there. Great stuff.
Fantastic. We couldn't have hoped for a better opening. Rio, is this going to be like the corresponding fixture in reverse? Perhaps could we be looking at 3-0 after a quarter of an hour? Who knows?
My heart can't take that. Don't even think about doing that to me. I'm actually quite gutted with Antonio's finish there, because he actually had time to turn around and use his backside to force the ball in. Right? And why he didn't think of that, I have no idea. So I'm a bit gutted there, Mickey. You've got to do better next time, please, mate. I'd like to point out some excellent goalkeeping from Hugo Lloris again, who's actually covered himself in absolute glory for the last 2 seasons. From being a World Cup winner to be one of the worst keepers in the Premiership is some feat. Well done, mate.
What do you make of the defending there by Tottenham, Rio? The ball came across, kind of Antonio stole in between both centre halves, it seemed. They were kind of like statues, just watching him come in and, nick the ball off them.
I hate to be kind of blowing my own trumpet, but I did point out that their centre-backs are the weak link.
Oh.
And if you get in between them, there's some issues. And their full-backs are strong. But then the centre-back partnership has been an absolute weakness all season for them. And, just call me Kenny Ball. I'm blowing my own trumpet on that one.
West Ham 1, Tottenham 0. The goal coming from Michail Antonio in the 5th minute. Gnome, where are we right now?
Well, sort of half chance there. Bowen again got in between two defenders, but it was just blocked out. But it was in good position. The game is being played in the Tottenham third of the pitch. So having said that, now they'll bring it away and they're hoping to break. But yeah, good start, good positive start from West Ham. Now I need to do a bit of defensive work, as we do. And Fornals is doing a lot of running there, but ball's played down. Tottenham left now. Cross comes in, and Fabianski will get the loose ball there. Kane tried to get something on it. I think there was a bit of a block. It flew up in the air. Fabianski gathered. So we're talking about that last game at their place. And at the time, various things, for various reasons, I have some various medical tests back then, one of which was spending a few days with a heart monitor strapped to me. And apparently at a certain point on that Sunday afternoon, my heart rate went up to 147 as Lanzini scored. So, and when they were discussing, when I was discussing the results, I said, "What were you doing then?" I said, "I think that was Lanzini's equaliser." So
didn't believe a word of it. A couple of quick stats for you. Michail Antonio has now been involved in 6 goals in his last 7 Premier League games. It's 3 goals and 3 assists. That wonderful poacher's goal that we've just seen being the latest of those. It's also his 5th goal against Tottenham. Pinky, you touched on it. I mean, they're absolutely petrified of him, aren't they?
Yeah, very much so. And you know, with 9 English qualified players on the field today.
Go, son. Here he goes. Lingard's in.
Oh.
Talk us through it. Talk us through it.
Me? Antonio spotted a loose ball, beat the Tottenham player to it, went bearing down on goal. Lingard had some space on the left. I'm not sure if that was Lingard trying to be cute with a... I think he was trying to play Antonio in, and it was too far ahead of Antonio. It wasn't a shot. Antonio couldn't get on the end of it, goal kick. But, you know, every time you're just saying they're terrified of Antonio. We said that now. Moura's coming through, and Rice has put in a beautiful tackle. Bowen's given it away, but the tackle from Rice there was just a thing of beauty. He slid in, removed the ball. Surgical, that was. But yeah, every time Antonio gets the ball and bursts forward, it's scaring me, let alone Tottenham.
Rio, we've seen a very bright opening also from Jarrod Bowen, someone who's been sort of criticised quite a bit in recent weeks, but he's looked really sharp, hasn't he, in the opening few minutes, and of course grabbing an assist himself so far.
Yeah, no, it's a really positive start. I mean, he's had this mystery illness. No one is any the wiser what it actually is, but he started full of energy, full of vigour, full of running. He looks incredibly fired up, as do most of our lads. So we've got into their heads. We know what this means to us. We know what the opposition mean to us as well. And it's a great start. Absolutely fantastic. And that tackle just a moment ago from Declan Rice, do I say it, but it's reminiscent of Bobby Moore in the 1970 World Cup, the way he just slid in, picked the ball up, got up in kind of an instant and fed it away. It's beautiful to watch.
It certainly is so far. 11 minutes gone. West Ham United 1, Tottenham 0. Pinky,
Bowen on the attack now.
Okay.
Bowen's on the right wing. He's got the ball left with the box, looking for help. Plays it back to Fornals, who's got into the box, down to the byline. Nobody challenging it. Cuts back. It's just cut out. Ball's in the area, and it's headed clear. And Tottenham will try and bring it away. The press. Now then. Excellent run. Now Kane's on the edge of the box. Kane shoots wide. Thank you. This is where we have to be careful because we can be caught on the break. It's not been unknown. And Lamella went on a storming run, fed Kane the edge of the box where he's dangerous, and he sliced it wide of the right-hand post.
Okay.
Just before that, where we got the ball into the box where Fornals had all that space there, that was an element of the hard work that Fornals himself was putting in, because he was pressurising the Tottenham back four into playing a long ball, which I think was Dawson snuffed out, and we came forward from that. So some good hard work there. And keep this
excellent.
up, they'll avert their long hot bath afterwards, assuming they have them these days.
Kane misfiring for Tottenham. That's their first shot at goal this afternoon. West Ham leading by that early strike from Michail Antonio.
Sorry, you've got to laugh. Tottenham put the ball out for a West Ham throw. Mourinho shrewdly picked the ball up, handed it to a Tottenham player who proceeded to go to take the throw. It was clearly a West Ham ball, but it was quite clever.
Yes. I wonder if he's feeling the pressure already down there, Pinky. Quite jocular and jovial before the game, Mr. Mourinho.
Oh.
No?
Yeah, and we've just
Pinky,
seen there over the top, straight in at Jesse Lingard, who brought it down, but couldn't control it properly, and Tottenham managed to tidy it up. But yeah, I think Jose will be feeling the pressure, because Dr. Evil will be watching this somewhere, and he will be saying to Jose, I'm not paying you £6 million a season or whatever he gets for this, to be losing away at West Ham United. But the form that Antonio was in, that's Antonio's 5th goal against Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, and it's the team he scores against more than any other. So he's looked sharp. I was just going to go and make the point earlier, with 9 English qualified players on the field, in normal times you'd expect to see the England manager at this game. And 2 or 3 players would catch his eye. Certainly Declan Rice would be there to watch. But who knows, the form Antonio is in, he just might be getting a look at, and maybe the England manager will be looking at him saying, do you know what? You're worth another look, you are. And that's how good he is at the minute. So very happy with what I'm seeing this afternoon.
Yeah, very much so. Some people who won't be very happy, and I get the feeling that the longer the game stays this way, we'll be going over there more and more often. These the fans who will be posting over at Tottenham's forum, the Fighting Cock, Pinky. What are they thinking about that goal? What's the reaction?
Well, I've got to clear sort of the smoke away from my laptop, because actually the Fighting Cock went into a bit of meltdown, I think it's fair to say. They are struggling with the whole concept of us being A, much further up the table than they are, and B, leading in this particular game.
Tottenham corner, by the way, guys.
All right, well, let's...
It comes across. Fabianski, not the greatest of punches, but some great some great blocking and defending, and West Ham bring the ball away now.
Okay.
The referee stopped the game and maybe players down in the box. But I think there are a couple of blimey. Yes, I think you might need to stop the game there. That's Souček is basically clarets pouring out of his face. Just have a look at it now. Yeah, not the greatest to punches. That's a great header from Souček. Now, how hard is Souček? Because not only does he get that header away, and there's like Python-esque doses of red stuff coming out of his head, but he gets up and waits until the ball's cleared before going down. And that's not how many times do we see a player just going down holding his head because the ball's in midair? It's that's going to be a hell of a patch-up job.
Yeah, I like the way in there that the Spurs player is actually down clutching his head longer than Souček, who's up straight away. Incredible stuff there from the Czech.
That's fantastic play from the Czech. Who's smiling anyway. I mean,
the last time I've seen that much claret all over someone in a West Ham shirt was in the Vic Tavern in Barstow, where the bloke had, took a clump from a bottle, but calm when he finished his pint. Yeah, I mean that's what you expect at West Ham, innit? And the Fighting Cock at the minute, you have a contender for comment of the opposition view.
Okay,
you go from 1882. Yeah, we'd turn Messi and Ronaldo into Vinnie Jones and Chris Armstrong if we signed them. I mean, the guy's commenting on that. Yeah, Antonio is exactly the type of player who plays well against us, and then we go and sign and then they turn into being complete rubbish. You know, other belters in here. Dyer is Dyer. Well, we all knew that. Clear off Jose, or words to that effect.
Oh,
I mean, they're not happy. They're not happy, you know. And you know, if I stop watching the game for a while, it's only because this is so enjoyable, you know. So dare I say it, if you're currently on KUMB, give yourself 20 minutes off. Have a look at the Fighting Cock instead, because it's really entertaining at this point in time.
We're back underway, by the way. Souček has gone off. He hasn't been replaced. No, he hasn't been replaced, although Noble was being told to warm up. He's gone straight down the tunnel, presumably to have a stitch or two put in.
Yeah.
But they'll need. I mean, he walked off and he looks fine.
Yeah, no doubt. A few butterfly stitches for Souček there, but
we've got 10 men at the moment, which we need to be careful of. Cross comes in from the Tottenham left. It's a little bit long. Lamella's out there to retrieve it out on the right-hand touchline.
Here's a stat for you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
West Ham United versus Tottenham is the first time this season that Craig Paulson has refereed Craig Dawson. How about that one? How about that? A quick comment from Carlton Cole, who, of course, you may have seen make his debut on Football Focus yesterday, and was talking about an injury to his left leg while clutching his right, which was probably the standout moment from Carlton. Did a really good job, actually. But Carlton says a few minutes ago, 1-0 already. I've only just switched on my TV. So this one being enjoyed by a lot of current Hammers and former Hammers. Rio, this time in the corresponding fixture at this stage in the game, we were 3-0 down. We're 4 goals better off so far. So can we be hoping for a 4-0 win perhaps this afternoon?
Please do not jinx it. I've got a lot of time and respect for you, Gray. Right? We've been involved with stuff on the site for over 20 years. Please do not go down that route. We're 4 goals to the good, as you say, but you know, we're a man down at the minute. We've got to weather the storm here, and Tottenham are just probing outside our box. Actually, that's a great interception, and Kufel comes away with it. Oh, Dawson. Bowen. Sorry. So we just won a free kick. Yeah, no, it's a great start. I mean, we couldn't have started the game at the White Hart Lane any worse than we did. But the longer that game went on, we grew into it, and we looked much the better side for probably the last hour of it. You know, just that we left it late to score the 3 requisite goals.
Yeah.
And obviously, because we like a little bit of drama, we decided to wait to the very last minute just to get the equaliser. You know, because Sky need the boosted viewing figures, obviously, don't they? Give the viewers their money worth. Yeah. But at the moment, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Yeah. It's
a bit of pressure for a minute or two there for Tottenham, trying to take advantage of the man advantage they've got at the moment. But ball's back with Lloris now, who's held on to it and not dropped it. So there you go.
Gnome, tactically, looks like we've got Lingard playing on the left side with Fornals playing a more central role. You might have expected West Ham to line up with those in the opposite positions, perhaps before the game. What do you make of that?
Well, to be honest, I think Moyes has various tactical ideas, and one of which is I think those behind Antonio, the 3 are always quite flexible. So I wouldn't expect that to be the whole case for 90 minutes. And you know, you may see Fornals go down the other side and swapping sides. It is very fluid, that attacking 3/4.
Yeah, very much so. But we'll keep an eye on that anyway, because perhaps a little bit of surprise that because Fornals, as we know, has done so much good defensive work, hasn't he, as well, covering on the left-hand side for Cresswell and Masuaku when he's been in. But whether or not Jesse Lingard is able to do that or not, we'll see as the game progresses. But it is West Ham United 1, Tottenham 0. Some early stats for you from the game. Possession-wise, West Ham 27%, Tottenham 73%. Both sides enjoying 2 shots each. Both of West Ham's on target and both of Tottenham's off target so far. No, where are we as in terms of the game right now? Still no Souček, presumably.
Dangerous ball played in by Son. Cresswell, a little bit more coolly and calmly than I'd have liked, perhaps, deals with it. Yeah, Son, we shouldn't. I don't want to see Son allowed to get the cross in, but 27, Nemora didn't get anything on it. It went across. Sufo did get a little touch on it. And as I say, Cresswell stuck his foot on it, calmly sort of turned one way. And sporting a very natty little bit of plaster around his eyelid, Souček is back. So back up to 11 versus 11. So top man.
I would have been demanding the full 4 meters of bandage wrapped around the Swede several times.
And a Billy Bonds.
Yeah, I mean,
Terry.
It would be the same iconic picture with just a tiny sort of like 3 centimeter bit of, whatever it is that's stuck in his head there. I mean, that lacks all sense of drama. That's very disappointing by the medical team. Very disappointing.
West
That's
Ham
because this is the Gold Sullivan and Brady era. We can't afford the 4 foot.
Yeah,
someone's had to pop down Tesco Express now and try and find a bit.
Yes.
Tottenham on the attack, balls at the edge of the box, shot block to the edge of the box, comes to Fornals, and we now begin to bring the ball away. Bowen's been a little snap at him, so a little tap at the back of his heel there, which was one of those little painful ones. So we got a free kick. I think last 10 minutes or so, whilst Souček was off, we've been kind of sitting fairly deepish and just not overcommitting ourselves. There was an attack where a long ball was played up, and the top centre half may have been Dyer there, or Sanchez, whichever one, headed it back, and where you'd have expected a West Ham player had been following up, it wasn't. But we've now got it back to we've got the full 11 on the pitch. We see a bit more, hopefully, in the way of attacking intent. Sorry.
A nice bit of sportsmanship from Jose Mourinho there, as Jared Bowen took one in the Achilles and went down clutching it, and Mourinho, petulant like a 5-year-old child, had his favourite toy taken away from him, leaping up and down on the touchline briefly. Fortunately, Jared seems to be okay, and Mourinho is still in his area, so he seems to be okay, which is good. But 25 minutes gone. West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. The only goal of the game so far coming from Michail Antonio at the 5th minute. Rio, we haven't gone to the KUMB.com forum match thread yet to see what the response was to West Ham's goal. What are the highlights from there, buddy?
Absolute delirium, to be honest, at the moment. And as you say that, I lose Fred. Here we go then. Simon Paul Thomas has put, go for the throat now. Ozza, Lingard's movement is exceptional. Wall 359. Love the movement. They're all over the place at the moment. Sticky, agree with us. Rice with a tackle that's reminiscent of Bobby Moore. Ozza said, this is interesting. Mickey looks to be right wing back, Bowen up top when we are defending. I've not noticed that at all, mate. I think he's feeding wherever part of the world he's residing at the moment. Must be playing up a little bit.
Dodgy stream, obviously.
Simon Paul Thomas again. Can need a little bit of TLC or something. He's running and committing as much as always, but his head always seems elsewhere. I hope he's all right in himself because he's a big asset to the team.
We've got a poor decision from the referee.
Come back to me just after the Tottenham got a free kick.
Yeah,
okay.
Poor decision from the referee. Arm not in an unnatural position, and should have been a corner, but instead it's been given as a free kick because it came off Bowen's arm. Dangerous position. Song on the left drills it low in, but it's blocked sort of in front of the near post. Song still got the ball though. I think Pinky's
I live nearer than that. I mean, what a rubbish shot from. It was at Moura, was it, or something like that? I mean, absolutely phony. You know,
Pinky's just described it beautifully.
It's the sort of thing that managers go wild over because a completely rubbish bit of football and all the pressure relieved. You know, I mean, the pressure was building there for a moment. Bad decision by a player. Wonderful to see. More of that, please, Tottenham Hotspur.
More of that, please, Mora. In fact, an absolutely dreadful effort by the Spurs. But, you know, of course, on a serious note, they're getting a little bit closer, aren't they, Gnome, as you know, as the half progresses?
Yeah, I think the injury to Souček and the need to reorganise took a little bit of the momentum out of our play for a little while.
Yeah.
Obviously, Souček has just been back. He's back for a couple of minutes now, but we've got to try and get that momentum back that we had beforehand.
We certainly have. We're rapidly approaching the half-hour mark. West Ham leading Tottenham here, courtesy of an early goal from Michail Antonio. And
sorry, just before you go on, Gray.
Yeah.
Pinky asked for more of the same from Mora, and he's just overhit a pass by about 20 miles straight into Fabianski. So your wish is his command.
There you go. Amazing stuff.
Well, yeah, they could have a pepperoni pizza at half time, please.
What's the verdict on the fighting cock, Pinky? How are they? I mean, perhaps any reaction there to the Mora effort?
I can barely keep up with it. Hang on.
It's very busy.
This is a good one. Sack the see you next Tuesday at half time. Useless. Yep. You know, I mean, it's just lovely. You know, Dyer running away from Fornals. It's a joke defender. F off. I mean, I've got to say, some of the language in the fighting cock, you know, it's not really classy.
Sorry.
Dyer and Sanchez losing the ball again. You know,
yeah.
Slow pass from Sanchez to Dyer, then Dyer lumps it forward to no one. My God, they are comical. I don't think Dyer and Sanchez are that popular with Tottenham supporters. They're not a club I follow closely, but you know, they seem not to be the most popular centre-back pairing, I think it's fair to say. You know, I mean, here we go. Dyer and Sancho utterly useless. Bone is going to have a party on the flank today. You know, oh, hang on. There's one deluded soul here. Hang on. There's hope on the fighting cock from Radical Rye. Even though we're one down, they look very beatable. You cling to the hope, son. Yeah. Honestly, you know, this is entertaining. This is better than the game, I've got to say.
Well, we're going to keep a close eye on that. Talking of a central pairing, Gnome, we saw another pretty poor example of one there. Was it Ndombele who was the injured party, should we say?
Tanganga blocked the cross. Yeah. Full marks to the guy for blocking the cross, but it was one of those great ones where, anybody who's played the game, when you see it happen to someone else, it's always funny. It's painful. It's right in what commentators always refer to as the, quote, midriff, unquote. Sanchez has just gone through the back of Antonio, and we've got a free kick in a very dangerous position. It's
okay,
just outside the penalty area, about a yard or so outside, maybe 2 or 3, on the left-hand angle from at the corner there. There's a brains trust of Rice, Souček, Cresswell, and Lingard lined up, but Souček and Rice have departed. So one of those two, one of Cresswell and Lingard will take this. Meanwhile, Dawson is having words with people there. Dawson and Diop are exchanging words behind the mouth. Free kick comes in for Cresswell, headed up in the air, and it's gone to Loris who collects it. So no panic in the end, and the game continues.
Okay, good stuff. Still West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. I'm just wondering how our two friends from Tottenham, who featured quite prominently in recent days and weeks, the two young lads who do the video for YouTube, are reacting to their start. I'm sure that we'll find out after the game. Someone will no doubt provide a compilation of what's going on there. Of course, the two young lads who were predicting that Spurs were going to win the league when they went 3-0 up against West Ham earlier in the season, and then were crying into their milk by the end of the game. No, over to you.
Yeah, just some superb work from Antonio to nip in and nick the ball from Tottenham, and Oh, that's a siding challenge through from Regulian on. Soufal, Regulian's looking at me, ref. But no, Mourinho's even more annoyed. I don't think anyone can complain about that. No, just Tottenham were playing it about, and he just nipped in and took the ball, and we got possession back. Pawson is meanwhile having a quiet word with Mourinho. If a quiet word is capable with him, because Mourinho's just gone ape at the Regulian tackle, and he definitely slid in. He definitely caught Soufal. So
yeah,
I think it's the usual putting pressure on an official so that if there is one that's sort of 50-50, maybe it'll go the other way next time. That looks like 3 stitches into me in Souček, who's just had some Vaseline smeared over the offending part. Free kick now to West Ham, which Fabianski will take. Launches it long down the wing. Antonio gets a foot on it, doesn't keep the ball, but we've got it back. But Fornals can't keep hold of it, and now Spurs bring it away.
Yes, Thomas Souček almost looking like a boxer up there, Pinky, so far with the application of the Vaseline to the eye and the stitches there.
Yeah, Vaseline is all
other brands of petroleum jelly are available.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a concern on what I'm seeing thus far this afternoon, an awful lot of the Tottenham attacks are coming down Soufal's flank. That's for sure. That's where all the crosses are coming in from. So clearly they've got a game plan there of some description. But
yeah, Pinky, let me ask, sorry, just very quickly on that. We saw that against Sheffield United as well, didn't we? What do you reckon that the teams are seeing that perhaps we're not seeing in terms of the right side with Soufal? A lack of cover, ahead of him perhaps?
I think he's also got a tendency to drift 5 to 10 yards slightly too further forward.
Yeah.
And whilst he's got a superb engine on him, he can't always get back quite quickly enough, and he just gives that extra yard of space to the opposition players. But they're certainly targeting that area. The other thing Tottenham are doing well this afternoon that we're not is they're being extremely physical and aggressive in the tackle and challenging for second balls. And I'd quite like to see maybe Declan Rice being a little bit more, shall we say, industrial. Yeah, in his application. I'm not talking about a full reducer going in, but do you know what? Just maybe letting 1 or 2 of their players know that we can put the boot in as well, if need be.
Funny you should say that, Pinky. Just as we speak, Lamella's got in the book for a lunge at Diop, catching Diop in the back of the leg. That's
a shocking challenge. I mean,
that's
an awful
jump
challenge.
in. That's a jump in. It's you're just saying about the aggressive word. That's precisely what you were saying, and maybe 1 or 2 of those coming from outside would go on this. But let's keep our heads. Let's not react to this sort of thing, and save it for when it's necessary. I think, rather than just retaliate for the sake of it.
Yeah, I mean, a clear booking there for Lamella, but I just wonder if Paulson's perhaps been a little bit lenient previously on 1 or 2. We mentioned the Soufal challenger. There was one on Bowen, of course. Perhaps there could have been 2 or 3 by now, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the Bowen one was the little nibble, really, I suppose. But we've forced the corner anyway down on our left-hand side, and that's. Cross got blocked. I think it was Cresswell tried to put the cross in. So, is this our first corner?
Yeah.
First,
I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you're keeping tally.
Yep.
So, anyway, the usual suspects. We have been quite inventive at times with corners. So, let's see what happens anyway from here. Cresswell on the ball, left-hand side. Antonio's stood in the box. Rice is in the 6-yard. Oh! Well, so nearly 2. Dawson, that trademark run from deep. Not sure that is marking him, but it's not really marking him. Sanchez is supposed to be marking him. Well, Dawson climbs, towers above him, and Lloris tips the ball over. Corner number 2.
Yeah, it's yeah, as you said, Dawson totally lost Sanchez, and it's a decent save actually, Rio, from Lloris. You know, we've been critical of him so far, but that was a good stop.
No, McCoy comes in here to flicks it on, runs out of play, unfortunately. Yeah, it was a fantastic header by Craig Dawson, and it's a quality save by Lloris. He's redeemed himself a little bit there, but I think if Craig had managed to get a yard aside either way, I think that would have been 2-0.
But these are clear, planned training ground set pieces, because both those corners there, the corner has been hit exactly where it should be. And the first one is Dawson coming from deep. The follow up, it was clearly put on for Diop to bury. Didn't make the good connection. But if you want to know what they do in training all week, there's 2 examples of exactly what they do in training all week. Yeah. Good move for West Ham there.
There it is. Pinky, let me ask you quickly. I mean, you know, we spoke about Diop before the game. What do you make of his performance so far in the opening 39 minutes?
Well, I think he's playing on his more natural side today, which I think will help him. I mean, he's been okay. As I say, the main concern I've got defensively is on Soufal's flank. So thus far, you've got to credit where it's due. He's done okay, is Issa, and long may that continue. I will celebrate with a full, hot, steaming cup of tea from my Diop mug if it stays as it is.
Well, let's hope so, or gets even better. Gnome, Michail Antonio, of course. We've been quite concerned about those hamstrings. You know, his first game back today. How's he looking so far? Are you quite happy with what you've seen? Does he look like he's running freely? You know, not sort of tempering his runs at all?
He's looking all right. So I'm just coming off from there. That's a great interception from Diop. Spurs were beginning to build a little bit of pressure up, but Diop's interception was brilliant. And Antonio did start a longer run, but he's out on the wing and he's robbed there. So nothing much happening. But no, he doesn't seem to be holding himself back. And very much the Antonio we know and love, sort of thing. That player.
Yeah, that interception that Diop has just made was brilliantly timed, perfectly executed. He's done exactly the right thing there and done it properly that I've been criticising for not doing when he hadn't been playing well. You know, he's come out, he stepped out the back line to make the interception. And when you do it, it looks great. When you get it wrong, you concede a goal. And I think that the fact that he's playing his natural side today is certainly helping his game.
Rio, we spoke a lot recently about our opponents having an awful lot of shots. Fulham 20 shots against West Ham. What was it? 2 on target. Sheffield United could barely trouble us last week. It's happening yet again today, isn't it? West Ham have had 3 shots all on target. We just saw a stat go up there. Spurs 6 shots so far, not 1 on target. So there seems to be a bit of a theme developing here, doesn't there?
Yeah, we're pushing them out a little bit. As you say, that Rice has just surged forward, tries to feed Antonio, but it runs out of play. Yeah, no, we're keeping the opposition really kind of long. Oh, as I say, there's another booking just been given now. Can't see quite who it is, but
Lingard
got took out with a late challenge.
Yeah.
Højbjerg, yeah. He's gone through him. And he's got the yellow. So Tottenham in front now to turn them up. I told you there'd be 2-0 in terms of bookings anyway. Yeah, we're reducing our opposition to kind of long range efforts and kind of frustrating them. You know, they're not getting clear cut chances at the moment. The big worry I have at the minute is that Son keeps dropping in from the left flank a little bit more centrally and dropping about 5 or 10 yards away from Soufal and Dawson. And they're hitting him with a diagonal once or twice. And they've got a little bit of space in the middle, which we've really got to keep an eye on because obviously Son, for me, is their best player by a million miles. And we can't afford him to let him have the time and space that they're looking to kind of search out from him. But yeah, just something to keep an eye on now.
Yeah, very much so. 42 minutes gone. West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Apparently, Thomas Souček has got crossed hammers on the plaster over his head wound. I don't know if anyone spotted that so far. No?
sorry, yeah, shot from the edge of the box there, and low effort. Tottenham bringing it forward again. Ball played into the centre, and it was a first-time shot. Tried to curl it around the defender. I think that was just trying to see who it was. Yeah, it was Lamela, but wasn't the hardest shot, and Fabianski was equal to it. Good save, but one you'd expect him to make.
Important point of the game, Gnome, actually, of course. The last couple of minutes of the half.
Time on the break again. Song at the edge of the box, but he's crowded out. That's good work from West Ham. Crowding out Song. And Bowen, again, very clever play from Bowen. He's
another yellow.
He's drawn the foul, another yellow card, because Bowen didn't go all straight attacking the ball. He realised he wasn't going to get it. So he angled his run to intercept where the ball was going to go. And Reguilón just basically clips him at the back. A little bit harsh for a yellow. I don't think there's an awful lot in that one. Yeah, just a little sort of dangle of the leg. But maybe the yellow was for the reaction. Toys out of the pram time. So I think that may be a dissent rather than for the foul. The foul itself was a foul, but pretty innocuous. But if you're going to shout at a referee and wave your hands like that, once in a while, they're going to get fed up with it. 3
Tottenham players now in the book. Lamela in the 36th minute, Hallberg in the 42nd, and now Reguilón in the 44th minute of the game. As it is, West Ham lead by 1-0. As I was just about to say there, Gnome, a very important point of the game now for West Ham. It's one where you just want to cling on and take, ensure you take that lead into the break.
Great throw in there from Soufal, which Bowen, clever run behind the defence. Sanchez came across to nod it out. So another corner for West Ham on the right-hand side. This would be a beautiful time to score, wouldn't it? So Sanchez sort of having hit the ball out of his knee, so he's rubbing his knee. But Bowen on the ball is going to take I think that's going to be an in-swinger. In it goes. And Loris comes over and collects the ball and goes over the top of his own player. But good goalkeeping for once there.
Yeah, vital, of course, that the Hammers Pinky maintain this lead now going into the break. Whatever added on time we'll get there. I'm sure there'll be a couple of minutes because of the injury to Souček earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd always want to go in. You get to this stage, I think, just keep it like this till half time. Just go in a goal up. Because Mourinho's already got his halftime speech and decisions made, for the halftime break, as has David Moyes, of course, and neither manager would really want to have to change at the last minute to what they're going to say or what they're going to do. So just try and hang on to the ball now for the next 90 seconds is what I'd be trying to do. And dare I say it, as soon as we do that, it's a loose pass from Soufal to Souček, who just goes in for a Tottenham throw. So the Tottenham player who's most caught my eye today is their left back. Is it Reguilón? We call him something like that.
Reguilón. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If we're looking to strengthen in the summer, he might be one player on the evidence of what I've seen here today that you think, what, you're looking to cut your wage bill, Levy. Your club's struggling financially. We'll take Reguilón off your hands. Yeah. Have some of that, Tottenham. But it's this is not a vintage Tottenham team. It's hard working, it's physical, but I'm not sure this is really the glory stuff. Hang
on, no. Well, Kane found a bit of space to the right-hand side of the box. Got a good low shot in. Fabianski saved well, and not sure who cleared it. It's been cleared out for a corner, but just having a look now. Fine save, and it's Diop. Clears the loose ball for a corner there. That's where we need to be careful with Kane. Corner comes in, free header again, and that's Dyer who heads wide. So need to be a little bit careful here. We've got about half a minute left of the 3 of stoppage that were added, by the way, so need to be a little bit more hardworking there. And Kane doesn't need an awful lot of space, but we gave him far too much of it there.
Rio, Harry Kane, the one real star in that Tottenham team, or Son, of course, as well, another decent player. But you're looking through the ranks there, and a lot of it looks quite workmanlike, doesn't it? As Pinky's described, rather than sort of top class.
Yeah, very much so. They're lacking inspiration. They're lacking someone in their centre just to get the foot on the ball and be able to play the ball.
Yeah.
Son and Kane offer by far the most attacking threat for them. The likes of Højbjerg and Dyer are really look like poor players at the moment. It's all workmanlike. Tottenham sides of yore always used to have that kind of player, that flair player, used to be able to put their foot on the ball, spray passes around, and they are crying out for that. But dare I say it, Mr. Mourinho doesn't like that type of player in these sides. And they look a far poorer side for it, to be honest.
Half-time.
Half-time. We are at half-time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. There you go. West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0 going into the break. The only goal of the first half coming very, very early for West Ham from Michail Antonio, a tap-in coming from a cross from Bowen. I've got Souček written on my ball for some reason, but of course it was a Bowen cross. But yeah, half-time, Pinky, your thoughts on what you've seen in the opening 45?
I think, we started very brightly. I mean, dare I say it, we caught them on the bus a little bit. We got the early lead, and I wouldn't say it's a case of we've sat back. I think in fairness to Tottenham, they've forced us back, particularly down our right-hand flank, their left-hand flank. I think in fairness, in the last 20 minutes or so, they've looked more likely to grab a second, other than from set pieces where we saw the corner kick. Dawson forced a very good save from Lloris, and Diop moments later with a better connection might have created some problems as well. So I think we're looking good from set pieces, but in open play, Tottenham are gradually getting a stranglehold on the game. Of that much I'm certain. And I don't think that Mourinho will change too much at half-time, but I'd expect David Moyes maybe to try and do something just to stop the I wouldn't quite call them a wave of attack after attack, but they are pushing forward far more at us than we are at them for the last half hour. So I'm okay with what I've seen, but there's a touch of us clinging on a little bit for the last 20 minutes of that half.
What do you see as the problem there, Pinky, for West Ham in terms of, conceding possession? Do we need a Mark Noble type, perhaps, in the midfield to come in for more, instead of one of the more, flair type players to sort of, add a bit of resolve, steely resolve to the centre of the park?
I'd be looking for something like that, and certainly someone that can pick a pass towards, Antonio, the greater vision. I think Fornals has given us plenty of energy, but I'm not sure that Mourinho is playing too much out from his centre-backs today. And I think the plan with Fornals would have been to press the centre-backs, force the error. And I'm not sure Mourinho's fallen into that trap today. I've seen Tottenham in recent months have struggled to get the ball forward at times. They're not struggling to do that today. Therefore, I think the onus on us is to make some kind of a change, just to say, do you know what? They're not going to keep coming through us as they are. I'm terrified of what's happening down our right-hand flank. I really am. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets on the end of a cross and in it goes. They must have had, you'll have the stats. I know that they've not put up one of those graphics today of where all sort of the attacks are coming, but I reckon fully 3/4 of Tottenham's attacks are coming down our right-hand flank. And probably a dozen quite decent crosses have been launched in. Eventually they'll score. So we've got to stop that. We must stop it.
Talking of stats, I do indeed have some halftime numbers for you. Possession, West Ham 30% to Tottenham 70. West Ham 3 shots with 3 on target to Tottenham's 10 shots, only 2 of which were on target. 3 corners for West Ham, most coming later in the half. 2 for Tottenham. West Ham having committed 4 fouls, Tottenham 6, and the XG stats, West Ham 1.07 to Tottenham's 0.56. Gnome, a great start for West Ham, but I think Pinky's called it exactly right there. We were sort of clinging on a little bit and, waiting for that half-time whistle to come in. What do you make of the first half? And in terms of changes, how would you approach the second?
Yeah, shame Fredericks isn't around really, actually, because he'd be ideal to be putting in at this point. But yeah, Pinky's nailed it. I think there was a clear and definable turning point at that point, which was Souček getting injured, and quite rightly we sat back from that point because it was a good 5 minutes, maybe longer, getting himself stitched up. But we struggled to regain what we'd had before that, and we've been defending well. It's just the last two attacks Tottenham had the closest they've come. And it's a little bit of a lack of concentration where Kane was given so much space out there. Well, a few words. Just watching the Bowen cross come in. Yeah, the first touch, Antonio definitely gets a touch on it. It's not straight through to Lloris. So Lloris makes the save from Antonio, but not a very good one. Excuse me. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to see us doing what we were doing here. We're pushing forward. There's been some good pressing. I think you said Tottenham aren't playing out from the back because there has been good pressing. There was some good harrying work from Antonio. A number of times I've seen both Lingard and Fornals pressuring a defender into sort of going long.
Yeah.
And us snapping the ball back and then pushing forward. So, but yeah, I mean, the injury took the stuffing out of us a bit. So we need to get, start the second half as we did the first.
Yeah, very much so. Rio, we were all delighted when West Ham scored that early goal, but do you think maybe that's sort of hindered us in some way? Perhaps psychologically, the game shifted from us having to sort of attack Tottenham and go looking for a goal. Now we've got it. We seem to have sort of sat a little bit deeper than we certainly did in the first 5 or 10 minutes anyway. Since.
Yeah, we certainly sat a little bit deeper, and when we have won the ball back in the middle, we're not keeping hold of it long enough. It's falling back into Tottenham hands far too easily, and they're trying to set up and tee up chances by hitting diagonals, getting in down the flanks, particularly down the left-hand side, as Pinky and Gnome both said. So we've really got to kind of reassess how we're approaching this game. The injury obviously came at a wrong time, and since then, it's been a bit of a mishmash. We've not really had the time on the ball needed. We're asking a lot of Soufal and Bowen down the right-hand side. And dare I say it, if Jared's little illness is playing him up, this work rate's not going to be any easier for him. Another thing as well is that also Mikel's been doing a lot of running around up front, but the three behind him haven't really got up at times to support him, and the ball keeps coming back a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
So we really need to kind of augment the support around Mikel so we can hold on to the ball and bring the midfield into play and get our attacking players another 5 or 10 yards closer to him.
Okay.
It's a great start. We worked hard. We caused them a lot of problems. But as the past progressed, we've kind of regressed a little bit. And but against these mid-table sides, we do tend to struggle historically, don't we? So, no. We're again lowering ourselves to the level of the opposition we're against.
Very good, very good. In terms of changing it, Rio, put yourself in David Moyes' shoes there at half-time. What would you be telling your team right now? And would you be perhaps making a change of personnel at the break?
So the thing is, we haven't got that many options in terms of the places we need to kind of support on the bench.
Well, we've got Johnson in there. I mean, no,
Lanzini, but do they offer? Yeah, potentially Johnson, but in terms of the more experienced players that Moyes tends to put his trust in, Lanzini and Benrahma, they've got the creativity, they've got the little bit of flair, but have they got the defensive discipline that we're looking for in this particular situation? Can you see Benrahma coming on the right-hand side and really augmenting Soufal? Because I just don't see him filling that work at all because, there's a lot of flash and a lot of flair, but there's not a lot of tactical and defensive ability in Benrahma there. We're really lacking numbers in terms of the positions we need to support. My biggest worry is, can Antonio, after being out for 2 or 3 weeks, keep up his energy and work rate for the full 90? Are we going to flog him into the ground and risk another muscle injury? He's the only one we've got out there who can actually do that role.
Yeah, you would, I guess, expect at some time for Mikhail to be replaced, wouldn't you, as the half wears on? So we shall no doubt see that false 9 tactic coming into play again at some point. But Pinky, in some ways, you know, it's been a great start for West Ham, not a brilliant half, but you know, we're winning, and that's the key point. But I think in some ways, as a manager, you know, leading 1-0 is one of the most difficult positions to be in, isn't it? In the sense that you are ahead, you've got that lead, you don't want to go gung-ho and score goals because you don't need to, but you know, you've got to temper that and balance it with, you know, the correct amount of sort of defending and positional awareness of you know, the opposition and keeping them out. How do you play this as David Moyes in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think just picking up then with Rio's main point there, was saying about what real alternatives does David Moyes have? Because you're only going to make a change if you think it will make a difference, and the difference you want it to make is an improvement. So, you know, normally as a manager, you're going to wait for the opposing manager to play his cards first. Of course, at 1-0 up, you can say, well, yeah, doesn't matter how well Tottenham are looking at the minute. The fact of the matter is they're a goal behind. And every minute of the game that goes by that they are a goal behind, the pressure builds on your opponent, i.e. on Mourinho. Where Moyes has got the problem today, 1 up, he's looking at going, do I desperately try and hang on to it for 45 minutes? Or do I say, do you know what? No, because if I try to do that, they're likely to get a goal, you know, because with the personnel I've got available. So I might want to keep my options open just in case I need to go and get 2 goals, you know, a second goal ourselves. So
yeah, maybe
on the hour he might make a change, but I think it's more likely to be a tactical switch with the players he's got in the field to start with, and it will be just to Gerard Bowen just sit 15 yards deeper. Vlad, don't drift forward quite so much, and just work on the shape of who we've got out there rather than change who we've got out there. So that's what I'd expect Moisey to do. I'd expect to see a lot more solid banks of players in the second half than I saw in the first half from us, and really lay down the challenge to Mourinho, come and break us down and see what you can do now. So change of emphasis rather than change of personnel.
Okay. No, I mean, you touched on the fact that West Ham, you know, a key point in that half was Souček's injury and how we were looking really strong up until that point. And then, of course, Souček going off gave them sort of, you know, a little bit of added impetus in terms of having extra numbers. But we never really recovered that in the, you know, thereafter, did we? And I suppose that's partially due to the fact that we've got the goal as well. But, you know, you touched on maybe bringing in someone on the right-hand side. You were bemoaning the fact that Fredericks isn't available today. What do you think about Ben Johnson perhaps coming in? Of course, we've seen him playing on the left-hand side, sorry, a little bit more recently. But of course, he is a right-sided player. So, yeah, what do you make of those?
I think I wouldn't change it straight away. I wouldn't change it at half time.
Yeah.
I'd see how the lie of the land is first 15, 20 minutes of the second half. What I would say is to Bowen is, when we are getting forward, if you're out on that right-hand side, have a think about taking Reguilón on because he's on a yellow.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's only one sort of tap and run, from a red. They're just showing, by the way, Gareth Bale is fully stripped off and running around in circles on the pitch there. So maybe that's the change they're going to make.
Yeah, there it is.
Swing, you know, he'll get his putter out in a minute.
Yeah, of course, Gnome pointing out that Reguilón is on a yellow card. Of course, there's our Lamela and Holberg, 3 Tottenham players on on a yellow following that that first half. Let's take our first half-time dip into the forums and see what the fans at home are making of what they've seen this afternoon. We'll start with the KUMB.com forum match thread. Rio, just to see what the Hammers are saying. Delirium and delight in the opening few minutes. Perhaps a little bit more realistic now, having seen the full half played out.
It's a lot more measured in their approach to how we're feeling now at the moment. Wolf 359's put, we can't get balls out. They just keep coming back. Michael needs some help other than having to wrestle two defenders and hope he can win. Gas WHU66, Regulon's been allowed far too much space. Bowen being asked to do too much and getting forward, then supporting Soufal. Looks like Soufal is almost playing as a right-sided centre-back watching Son. Fred would have been perfect today. Vic Watson, Diop has been man of the match so far and is immense. Lovejoy again. Soufal and Bowen have let way too many crosses come in. We look really weak down that side for some reason. Aaron Aldino, a bit more composure on the ball needed and we can punish them. Too many bad touches and poor passes in the final third at the moment. Mike, 1961. Rice is the new Bobby Moore and Thomas Soucek is a new Billy Bonds. George Paris has put, we need to avoid getting dragged down to their level. We're much better than this. We've got a couple of years to give up, to go up at least. And where is it? Hammers 92 has put, I'm on my third beer and nervous as hell. It still feels really weird supporting a team that's good at football. I think that best sums it up for me.
A couple of stats for you before we come to the. There's been a change or two. We'll come to that in just a minute. Issa Diop's first half stats: 100% pass accuracy, 100% aerial challenges won, 100% tackles won, 3 clearances and 2 blocks. So yeah, that's kind of backing up what Pinky was saying about Diop's first half. And here's an interesting one for you. If we're looking for good omens, Tottenham haven't won any of their last 11 Premier League games when losing at half time. They've drawn 2 and gone on to lose 9, including losing each of their last 6 in their most recent victory from behind, coming back in December 2019 when they were losing 2 at half time against Brighton. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that sequence continues. Gnome, you have some changes for us as the game's kicked off.
Yes!
We'll come to those in a minute.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
Oh, the flag.
Someone take it up.
Out, you know, I can't have that forever. Yeah.
One of them things. Let's have a look. Ball's played up to Antonio, clipped through to Fornals. Oh, now then. Well,
no, I don't think that's
so bad because Fornals doesn't get involved. He doesn't touch it, surely.
Yeah, he moves towards the ball is the thing. You watch, they'll give it offside because he moved towards the ball.
West Ham do have the ball in the net, of course, in case you're wondering. But there is a VAR check going on here, Gnome. I think.
I think they're going to allow this. You know.
Yeah.
But I can't. I mean, the ball's played through, but there's absolutely no involvement from that. That's a goal. That if they disallow this, it'll be wrong. They'll be wrong to do that.
No.
I don't think that involvement is in any way, shape, or form.
Oh,
I was right.
It is West Ham United 2, Tottenham 0. The goal's given, Pinky. What about that? We've got a VAR decision in our favour.
Celebrating twice. I mean, I mean, to be absolutely fair here, it's a brilliant finish by Lingard. No question about it. You know, he's totally buried that. I mean, you don't save those. And talk about perseverance. It was good play between Fornals and Lingard, knocking the ball between each other. But I thought really that Fornals, because he went towards the ball, and I'm sure that's why the lino flagged it. But the VAR mob have said, no, that's good. I'm not so sure, but you know what? I'll take it.
I think it might have been given because they might have thought that Fornals hit it. I mean, I was actually going to come on and say, like, well, we're underway and Tottenham have made a couple of changes for what they're worth. Bale is on for Lamella and Doherty's on for Tanganga, who was playing on their right back for them. But just as I was about to tell you that, then things happened. This Lingard guy. This Lingard guy's not bad, is he?
And of course, West Ham have done it again. Another brilliant start to a half. I'm not quite sure what to make of that celebration. It looks like there's a bit. It's almost like a bit of a Rangers celebration, dare I say it? Not quite sure what's going on there, but anyway, we'll take it, Rio, and West Ham are 2-0 up, and there's 49 minutes gone, and we're on our way again.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, when this is exactly what we needed after like a really almost stodgy end to the first half. We really need to come out and get at them. And I think it was a brilliant piece of play between Fornals and Lingard there. Fornals got a vital touch, flicked it over, and what a finish by Jesse. And I've said time and time again, I didn't really want him here. I wasn't convinced. But apart from the plasticine looking face and head, he's not too bad, is he? He's not bad at all.
Not bad at all. And of course, in 4 league games now for West Ham, Jesse Lingard has scored 3 goals and 1 a penalty. Pinky, not a bad return for a player that's only costing us a relatively small loan fee, you'd say?
Yeah, and dare I say it, it's another player that the manager's brought in that is delivering on what the manager wants. Has anyone got a better record in the last 12 months of the transfer market than David Moyes in terms of value for money? Players that are coming in straight into the starting 11 and delivering. Never mind the fees. It's a good sign that a manager is actually putting a team together that's very effective. So, yeah, quite happy with it. Like Rio, I wasn't sure about Lingard. I have real doubts about signing players at so-called bigger clubs who join clubs like ours. About their
I'll play for now,
but doing very well for us since he joined, and long may it continue. He's played the ball through.
There's a ball.
Bit too much on it. He misread the green there. Gareth Bale is going up to him saying, "Look, the green's running quite quickly down that end of the field. Take a little bit off it, and the length of the pass would have been better."
A good break though. Fornals coming to rob a Tottenham player on the blind side there, which was it's always nice to see. One thing we haven't said in the goal, and it was a small but very important part, was Antonio. Ball played out to him and it's stuck. As we go forward again now, Rice puts the cross in. Oh, it's not a back pass, but the cross is blocked by a defender. I think that was I'm not sure that was it. Sanchez, was it? It ended up back with Lloris, but the Spurs now come forward and Bale's on the ball now for the first time. Cuts inside, gets a cross in, and that's a great piece of defending from Soufal with a Tottenham player at the back there. So, I need to be a little bit careful with Bale just in case he has a good game for once. And
here's another.
It was Dawson with the clearance rather than Soufal. Both of them were up there, but Dawson, managed to clip it away from Bale. Tottenham corner on their left, our right. In-swinger comes in, and that's straight down Fabianski's throat. So, panic over there.
A nice little statistic for you. Full of them today. Jesse Lingard scored the last goal for Jose Mourinho's Manchester United. And he's just scored the most recent against Jose Mourinho's Tottenham. So, there you go. For the time being, of course. 53 minutes gone. It is West Ham United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. The live league table, of course, there's a long way to go yet, showing that West Ham United are back up to 4th place in the Premier League. Rio, we were talking about, what does David Moyes do leading 1-0? And again, the whole scenario has changed again now. West Ham now with a slightly more comfortable position. Do we sit back? Do we go for the jugular? Do we go for a third? I mean, what do you do here?
there's weaknesses to be exploited here. I mean, they brought on Bale. You know, they're looking to exploit us down that right-hand side, which they targeted so much in the first half.
Yeah.
By them throwing Bale on, it's leaving open more gaps for us to go for. You know, I wouldn't sit back. You know, they're there for the taking. Let's just rub the salt in the wounds. Let's humiliate them. You know, they've been humiliating themselves for years. Tottenham fans. Let's dish out a little bit of a retribution.
Let's give a hand.
Let's put them where they
Corner to West Ham.
Let's put them in the place where they should be.
Yeah, very much
Corner
so.
to West Ham, anyway, out on the West Ham left. And I presume Cresswell's down there to take it. Just the referee making a sign that he's adding the time on. Yeah, okay, referee, know you there. Right, so Cresswell to take. Usual jostling for position in the box going on. Over it comes. Cresswell takes. Near post, headed out to the edge of the box. Fornals.
It's a good ball.
Lovely ball into Cresswell into the box. I just can't keep it in. Lovely ball from Fornals. Just a little bit too much oomph on it, perhaps. Lovely run from Cresswell. It may have been offside, I think. I think the players in the middle were all West Ham shirts. So.
Absolutely, and that's the key point there, Gnome, because what we saw there was Antonio.
No, referee, he's taking the ball cleanly. That's so infuriating because, okay, he's from behind, but he's not got anything in a player. He's taking the ball cleanly. It looked at me. Yeah, taking the ball cleanly, and down goes Kane, clutching his ankle. Not a foul. Not a foul. Any contact is after the ball. They're not a foul at all, and certainly not a yellow card.
I think at this juncture, Pinky, it would be a good point to go and have a look at our friends at the Fighting Cock and just see.
Well, do you want to wait for this free kick
West
first?
Ham's second goal.
Do you want to wait for this free kick first?
Okay, yep, let's do that, and we'll go to the Fighting Cock
played in by
afterwards.
Son. All sorts of players going, throwing themselves to the floor, and I think that's Sanchez. Basically puts it in a row, probably X, but maybe Y.
Okay.
Just went where it's on the dive threw himself to the floor, but nothing happening there. There's
to the Fighting Cock we go, Pinky.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Sanchez is a clown, outmuscled by Lingard. How's it possible to defend that badly? I'm afraid his onside came off Sanchez. So they all think, you know, at this stage that they're getting away with it. But laughable defending again, and that's going to count. Honestly, these two Muppets should never start again. I mean, you have to laugh being done by Lingard. And then there you go, from SA96. A lot of our fans are against the signing of Lingard, so seemingly the Tottenham supporters didn't want Lingard either. I think it's fair to say that the Fighting Cock has not got too many happy Tottenham Hotspur supporters this afternoon. I don't know what you're doing for your tea tonight, Graham, but you probably need to cancel it because you'll be editing all this for hours, the opposition view. I mean, you'll be up half the
another
night.
free kick to Tottenham in dangerous position. About 25, 26 yards out, slightly left of centre. And Bailey went down far too easily. Must be a bit windy again, like Anfield yesterday. Bale, Son, and Kane all hovering over it as the wall is being lined up. So a bit of a worry. This one, Son comes away, stand in front of the wall. There's a little bit of blood trickling down. I know it's an old stain, but Suchek there. But well, Bale looks like he's psyching himself up for this. In your own time, guys. And Tottenham are doing the putting a wall in front of the wall thing. So make of that what you will. Oh, just wide.
Miles wide.
Gareth Bale blasting wide, Gnome again.
I think whether you say just or miles, the appropriate word is wide. Wasn't that wide, actually? Yeah. I think it was covered had it been coming in, but it was wide. Any adjective other than that? Not fussed.
Oh, first mention of Pochettino today from Sundowner on the Fighting Cock. You know, dry your eyes, mate, but, you know, we were playing better under Poch and he got sacked. Yeah, he's gone, mate. He's long gone. And, you know, there are an increasing number of posts on their website calling for Mourinho's head. And, but of course, this game doesn't matter to Tottenham Hotspur supporters.
Of course,
you know,
of course.
You know, apparently it's our cup final, not theirs. They don't really care. They've got bigger fish to fry.
Oh, shut up, Bale.
They all want their manager sacked all of a sudden. I can't quite figure out the consistency there. You know?
Talking about their manager, Pinky, this is the first time a Jose Mourinho team has ever conceded in the opening 5 minutes of both halves in a Premier League match. And so another.
Moyes has done that deliberately, and I think when Moyes invites him in for the traditional glass of red wine after the game, he'll probably say, "Look, Jose, I hope you don't mind, but I deliberately did that because I wanted to get a key stat against you." I'd expect Jose to laugh heartily at that and say, "Oh, David, you're such a card." Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty workmanlike Tottenham Hotspur team, and you know, with, dare I say it,
superb goalkeeping.
Yeah, he did well there, but they should be doing
spectacular,
better.
But it's superb.
Tell me about it. I'm 30 seconds behind. Which goalkeeper are we talking about? For the benefit of
it's Fabianski, and Bale. Kane has played in a low ball that's gone in, sort of. It's running, curling parallel to the 6-yard box. And Fabianski's just come and smothered it, and it's absolutely just superb goalkeeping. Not spectacular, not a catch or a tip around the post or anything like that, but just good, effective goalkeeping. Commanded the 6-yard box, something that Lloris in the first half of that goal didn't show.
So, good stuff. We are an hour through the game. Rio.
Well, yeah, the biggest shock during that period of Fabianski's keeping is that as he took the ball, he followed through and took out Craig Dawson. And Tottenham didn't appeal for a penalty. I can't understand why. No?
Well, listen, I want to talk about VAR very briefly while there's a slight lull in play. Gnome, we saw West Ham's second goal, Lingard's goal, initially flagged offside by the linesman. Now, you know, we're very critical of VAR and have been, and rightly so, for the last couple of seasons. But there's a great example of why VAR can work, because there's no way last season we would have been given that goal. It would have been, you know, ruled offside. We would have been sitting here bemoaning the fact that it hadn't counted at the end, and it could have potentially cost us the game. But it's worked today, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'll get back to that. Just a couple of things. So Bale had a shot straight down Fabianski's throat. Diop has taken out Moura there, I think. And cynical little tug, free kick and a yellow card. No complaints about either, to be honest. Just there. So we'll stick with the free kick, I think, before we go on to the question of VAR. They've sent it backwards anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I think from the linesman's point of view, it may even have looked as if Fornals had put the shot away, because the two players were very close. And so as Tottenham are now going on the right, there was a bit of a scramble, but it's cleared again at the edge of the box. And West Ham is sort of defending well, though, forcing Tottenham back. It's good defending, West Ham, back on the halfway line now. Yeah, I mean, they were the two of them were quite close. And to be honest, from behind, which is the standard angle that we get, I wasn't sure whether the two of them would put it away to start off with at first. So, but when you saw it, the fact that Fornals had not really got involved, Tottenham coming down the right again, Bale tries to be cute and get it past Rice. Rice not having it, puts it out for a corner. So Tottenham beginning to turn the screw a little bit now at the moment. So, but yeah, VAR working properly for once there.
Yeah, very nice to see. And I think it looks like Ben Rama is about to come on for West Ham. Not quite sure who he's going to replace. I don't know if we've seen that on the TV yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Corner from Bale. Oh, it's in. Moura heads in at the near post. Poor defending there. Bale's finally done something in the Premier League for Tottenham. Takes the corner, and it's headed home. Yeah, near post corner. Moura's got away from Cresswell, and it's crept in at the near post. So, bit of a game on now. I'd like to see us get this third just to sort my heart out. So,
yeah, I guess that also just
by Cresswell there, absolutely shocking. Fell asleep, let Moura get in front of him, and then he was always going to be second best. And good header by Moura, that's for sure.
Answer to your question, Graham. It's Bowen coming off for Benrahma.
Bowen, the man being replaced for side Benrahma. 64 minutes gone. West Ham United 2. And Tottenham pulling one back there. There's still a lot of time to go, Rio. It's squeaky bum time, perhaps, already for the Hammers.
Yeah, Tottenham was showing signs of desperation. They'd executed the dive into the floor plan perfectly. Referee had bought a few cheap fouls. And they'd started throwing a kitchen sink at us. And we got sucker punched by what we've executed so perfectly all season. Really poor defending by Cresswell there. He got absolutely rolled by Moura. You just can't do that. He absolutely switched off. The near post header cost us dearly. We've now got to regroup. We've now got to get our foot on the ball. We've now got to calm this down. We can't afford to let this slip.
That's a clever play there. Oh, I don't know what's happening there. Clever play from Fornals. A throw-in down. Fornals is stood on the goal line. Heads it back at not sure if it was that Doherty. Who's their number 5?
Holberg.
Højbjerg, yeah. And heads it against him for a corner. Højbjerg takes exception to this for some reason, as if it's some sort of unsporting tactic. So corner to West Ham on the West Ham right. And Cresswell takes, corner comes across. Just gets flicked across, and Benrahma keeps it alive out on the left-hand side. Gets past his player. Another corner, I think. He's giving a goal kick. Benrahma looks a bit mystified at that. It's good work there, but let's have a look at it now. I mean, he's completely done Sanchez there. Gets it past him. Maybe a little touch. Tottenham coming forward again now. This is worrying. Bale out to Kane. That's a great ball in from Kane, and nobody on the end of it. Lucas goes sliding in about half an hour late. But come on, West Ham, wake up a bit. It's only Tottenham.
I mean, you can just imagine what Mourinho said. He said, "Look, lads, start of the season, you all wanted me as the manager because you thought we'd win the league. If we lose it today, you'll be playing for Sam Allardyce next week." I mean, it's that kind of speech, and because Tottenham look like they're perked up a little bit, but I'm not too perturbed at this point. I would say they got the goal because of a poor bit of defending by us as much as a good bit of finishing by them. So as long as we all do our jobs, I don't think we've got too much to fear.
Medellin Hammer saying that West Ham living dangerously here on the YouTube chat. And it's Rio. We're sort of reverting to that pattern of the first half, aren't we? West Ham scoring very early on, getting that advantage. Of course, Spurs didn't score in the first half, but they've done so here. But we need to sort of get our foot on the ball here for a minute, don't we? And just calm things down for a bit, because as everyone's sort of realised, Tottenham beginning to get back on top of it.
Yeah, very much so. And also, they're playing for the cheap fouls option at the moment. They're going to try every trick in the book. Yeah,
Sanchez put the ball out for a corner, then clutched his chest. Free kick.
Perhaps winning one they didn't deserve there. Going back a few minutes actually to that, you mentioned it, Gnome, the corner. I mean, I was thoroughly amused by Pablo Fornal's reaction to was it Højbjerg who he played the ball off for the corner. Yeah, great stuff. Enjoyed that a lot.
Antonio's just picked up a yellow card for being, free kick given for nothing, and Antonio told the referee what he thought of it, and the referee wasn't having that, and yellow card for dissent. as Tottenham try and build on the edge of the box. Got some space out on the left now. Cross from Bale, but that's far too far, and Benrahma will either watch it out or bring it away. I'll watch it out. Throw into West Ham.
Interestingly, we went into the break with Spurs having 3 players booked, none for West Ham. Since when Souček has been booked, Diop's been booked, and Antonio's been booked. So it's parity restored, you might say. 3 bookings each so far in the game. So
that's a bit sloppy from West Ham. The throw from Benrahma to Cresswell did Cresswell no favours whatsoever, and we ended up having a block across for a corner. So let's be awake at this one, West Ham. Bale again puts in. It's a longer corner, and that's great defending from it was Rice there. Dyer coming at the back, but another corner. So again, screw beginning to be turned. A little more than 20 minutes left. So vigilance, West Ham, vigilance. Corner in again, and headed out. Now, can we make something on the break here? Tottenham win it back. They're not getting out quickly enough. Bale's attempt to cross is blocked, still on the edge of the box. And that's a good little challenge, but it's out on the left to Song now, who's been very quiet.
Yeah.
Box and W or X? That's good in a way because, okay, they've got a shot in, but it just relieves the pressure. They can talk to each other. What do we need to do here? That's miles away.
Some match stats for you right now as we enter the final 20 minutes of the game with West Ham United leading Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. Possession, West Ham 31% to Tottenham's 69%. West Ham 4 shots at goal, 4 shots on target. Tottenham 14 shots at goal, 4 shots on target. West Ham with 5 corners, Tottenham with 6. West Ham have committed 10 fouls to Tottenham's 6, which seems a little bit surprising given how physical Tottenham were in that first half. But anyway, the Hammers still ahead here. Pinky, Said Benrahma's been on the pitch for about 5 minutes or so now. How are you seeing him fitting into the team tactically, at least?
I think the fact that he's got a little bit of pace, bit of trickery. I think the idea will be try and get him on the ball and win some free kicks up their end of the field. Which is what I expect his major contribution. But I think it's more a case of Bowen, who's been out for a number of weeks, needing, the manager's decided that, I'll get an hour out of Bowen, a good hour out of Bowen, but I couldn't get a good 90 minutes out of him. I think that's more the case. As Tottenham pull down our flank, Rice cuts it out, and Cresswell, plays it forward and it's charged down by Bale for a West Ham goal kick. But no, I mean, for my money here this afternoon now, we need to get a hold of the football and hang on to it just for the next 3 or 4 minutes to take some of the sting out of the Tottenham attacks, because we said at the top of the hour, or the start of the show certainly, Kane and Son can punish you if you give them a chance. Bale does have that capability as well, for one-off moments. So we need to get a hold of the football, and we're just not doing it enough at the minute.
Yeah, I just wonder whether bringing Said Benrahma on is the right player. When you're in a position like that, when you want to get hold of the ball, because he's more.
He would another shot from Spurs.
He wouldn't have been the player I'd have brought on, that's for sure.
No, exactly.
I'd have brought on, the club captain for certain, and just shored us up in that area. But I think Benrahma might give us more of an outlet. And I think that might be the manager's thinking.
Well, I guess nobody's going to be overly critical of Moyes, because a lot of fans would have liked to have seen Benrahma in from the start. So we shall see how it works out. Anyway, we did miss a 4th booking. West Ham now leading in bookings. Pablo Fornals picking up a yellow card for a bit of a shin rake on Ndombele that left the Spurs player limping. So West Ham now have 4 yellow cards to Tottenham's 3. It's been a complete game of 2 halves, you might say, in terms of that. Gnome.
Yeah, I was about to say, because Boss Pinky was summing up, that there'd been another yellow, so you summed that bit up for me. What I would say is whereas Tottenham's threat came down our our right-hand side in the first half. Second half, it's been more down our left-hand side. Although Benrahma maybe there is for an outlet, if you like. A couple of times there, you think, well, he does need to just be a little bit helpful for Cresswell there, because Cresswell's getting sort of two-on-one here a lot, with Bale pulling it out to Doherty quite a lot.
74 minutes gone. West Ham United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. It's going to be a long last 20 minutes or so, gentlemen. I think the longer it stays like this. Jose Mourinho looking to make another change by the looks of it. Is that Dele Alli he was talking to a few moments ago? Yeah, on the sidelines, pointing out where he wants him to play. So Mourinho looking.
Oh.
No?
Well, a through ball from Benrahma caused all sorts of mix-ups between Lloris and the defender there. We've still got the ball out wide on the right-hand side of the box. Soufal there. Benrahma tries to muscle his way through, but runs into a blockage, and Tottenham bring it away. But that could easily have been the three that might have steadied our nerves a little bit. Wasn't the greatest of through balls from Benrahma, a little bit too much on it. But Lloris and the defender really messed it up between them. And talking of messing things up, Bale again tries to play Doherty in, but he's overplayed it. He's played it out for a goal kick. But again, there's that two on this side, those two, which have changed the game, to be fair. It's two good substitutions. If you want your sub to change games, that's what it is. So,
yes, Tottenham right back in this game now. It's going to be a frantic last quarter of an hour or so, but Hammers still holding that narrow advantage as we approach the final 14 minutes or so of normal time. Rio, we frequently talk in the second half about changes and tactical adjustments. What would you be thinking of? We spoke about Ben Johnson, didn't we? Gnome spoken about Spurs, being particularly proficient on the left-hand side. Maybe a chance to bring him in and double up with Soufal on what's happening on that side of the pitch.
Yeah, and he's got slightly changed. I think someone's having a word with him, so I'm anticipating him coming on pretty soon now.
Yeah,
Ali's just come on for Tottenham. Yeah, ever since half time, they've doubled up on Cresswell, Bale and Doherty, and they've run him absolutely ragged. But the most surprising thing that the actual goal come from Moura trying to pull him away at the corner rather than an open play. It's just every time we get the ball forward, it's coming straight back, and we can't afford to do it. There's some tired legs out there, some tired minds at the moment. We really need to get our foot on ball and get a grip of this.
No, what do you make of that change for Tottenham? Dele Alli coming on for, was it the left back? I think he was replacing him.
Reguilón. Yeah, I can see why you'd need an attacking option. We haven't. I said earlier on, while he was on, Bone might want to have a go at Reguilón. Nobody's got at him at all. He's a redundant player out there. So, yeah, I can see why you'd do that. Just watching here, sorry. We had a little, I wouldn't say half chance, but probably a 10th chance where Lingard was in a good position in the box, but couldn't really manoeuvre himself to get enough room to get a shot away. But he's on the ball now, so that's a lovely ball through the middle to Benrahma. Plays it out wide. There's Fornals is there, cuts the ball behind everyone, and it's not a great clearance. There's no following up on the edge of the box. And Tottenham can bring it away again on their right-hand side. Although Bale's moving inside now. And again, it's played on the right. Now, Kane's in on goal here. This could be dangerous. And it's put wide. Kane kicks it in, pulls it to the edge of the box, and it's clipped the top of the bar.
How Tottenham didn't score there is beyond me. I mean, if that had been not scoring, then I'd have been apoplectic with rage. They had us wide open. I mean, Kane, he's the only player in the box. He plays it across. Their man gets on the end of it. Was it Swan? I mean, how it doesn't go in, and then tremendous stuff. I mean, if anyone wanted to know whether or not God was a hammer, there's your answer.
Was that a clearance or the Tottenham player getting on the end of that cross? seriously, I'm sure. Let's have. It's just looking at Bale slicing the shot over, but when the cross came in originally from Kane on the right hand side, there was that just a great clearance, or was it an awful shot?
Well, it's bizarre, isn't it?
Because the two players came in, I couldn't see who it came off. So
I think it's Dele Alli. I think it's Dele Alli making an amazing clearance. I think. Oh no, it's not. No, it's Declan Rice. Rice has got the last touch, I think.
In which case, well played, Rice.
Yeah. You can see it better from the other angle. Yeah, but West Ham living dangerously, Pinky, and there's plenty of time to go yet.
Yeah, but do you know what? We're only doing it to taunt the Tottenham supporters. That's why we're doing it, because, well, they've just put a stat up. Tottenham 17 attempts, West Ham 4. But the stat that matters is the top left-hand part of the screen. It says West Ham 2, Tottenham 1.
And away we go now on the break. Let's hit him. Sucker punch. Antonio now, edge of the box. Tries to get a cross in, but it's blocked. Antonio still on the edge of the box here. Tries to, keeps hold of the ball as he comes back in. So the best way to relieve the pressure is to keep the pressure on them, and that's a poor ball. Cresswell tried to play it inside the fullback to Benrahma, but wasn't getting anywhere with it.
Johnson about to come on for West Ham by the looks of it.
No, referee. Souček's that's the second time he's done that. He's won a ball cleanly, and a Tottenham player's gone down, and Moyes is telling Moura in no uncertain terms, what a disgrace it is. That is disgusting. No, go away, referee.
We're inside the final 10 minutes. Ben Johnson looks like he's about to come on for West Ham. The Hammers' second change of the game. The only substitute so far being Benrahma coming on for Bowen.
Fornals coming off.
Spurs having made 3 changes already. Bale coming on for Lamela. Part of a double change at half-time. And then Ali coming on with 77 minutes gone. We're inside the final 10 minutes, Rio. West Ham hanging on here pretty much 2-1 up.
Yeah, my nerves are shot to pieces. Blubbering wreck at the moment. We're just completely under cost. Poor Aaron Cresswell has been absolutely bombarded in this second half, and it looks absolutely shell-shocked. He's got PTSD at the moment, and it just feels like a goal is incoming for them at any moment, because not only are they attacking us and absolutely running us ragged down, especially down the right-hand side.
Well, can I stop you there, Rio? Basically, Tottenham chipped a ball in straight, and Fabianski came out to punch away. And Fabianski and Soufal basically collided. Soufal looked in a bit of trouble here. Fabianski, thankfully, is just getting himself up. But Soufal does look in a bit of trouble as Rice is jogging over, maybe to get instructions as to maybe what's going to happen next. But Fabianski looks okay. As I say, he's up and dusted himself off. But Soufal did look in a bit of trouble there. So
interesting to see the concern shown by Thomas Souček there for his compatriot. Rushed over and had to be calmed down in a little bit there, I think, Pinky, by Craig Dawson. He it's like watching your brother get shot or something on the,
Obviously, they're big mates and all the rest of it. And, it's nice to see, actually, that a player taking an interest in the well-being of a fellow player.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, for all of us, I think we should make a note of the date and time, because we could well be watching the last, 7 minutes of the Jose Mourinho era in English football. This could be marvellous. Keep an eye on your newspapers tomorrow, because if it stays like this, the only reason Jose Mourinho is staying as Tottenham Hotspur's manager is because Daniel Levy doesn't have the money to pay him off. He is getting absolute pelters on the fighting cock, is Jose Mourinho, and rightly so, because they're a squad that's got some decent players, but actually way too negative all season. And Mourinho, dare I say it, is in risk of destroying his own reputation in the game. certainly as far as Tottenham supporters are concerned. So we've got, what, 6 minutes plus the stoppage time to see out. Touch wood, I think we can do it.
The good news is that Soufal's up and running again. Not sure if he's back on the pitch yet, but it was his ribs that appeared a bit tender. He could have a nice bruise or two there. So he's back on the pitch anyway, sort of thing. He's breathing deeply. I was going to say, I just saw the ball go out. I thought, well, that's a West Ham throw. Tottenham seemed intent on taking it, but hopefully common sense has prevailed. So a decent amount of stoppage time in the second half here today.
Yeah, you'd expect so. A few minutes, and just interestingly, there a few minutes ago, looking at Lucas Fabianski's goal kick. Now, this is one of my pet hates, because you see it so frequently, it never gets punished. So I'm going to throw this one at you, Gnome, because you're often so critical of our referees. Fabianski, goal kick, drop kick. He's clearly a yard or so outside the area before he lets the ball go. How often do you see that happen? And why do you think it's never pulled up?
Because nobody's looking at it, basically.
Well, the linesman must be there.
Yeah, but I mean, and Betty tie their own shoelaces. So bear with, because Tottenham are coming down again on the right. Ball out with Dirty, plays a cross in. That's nodded on. It's all Sons at the back post, pulls it back to all sorts of shots coming in, and it's a goal kick to West Ham. I think Spurs were hoping for the corner, but that was Dyer put the thing in. I mean, it gets close to it. It's whether or not he's actually got his hands on the ball when he's outside the box, of course, because you can actually throw it out. He's
clearly got it in his hands, 2 or 3 feet outside the box, and you see, and you know, as I often, I'm probably one of the only one who does it, but as someone who referees the odd grassroots game on a Sunday, I'm often looked at in confusion by players when I pull them up.
I can remember a classic years ago when I was playing in goal on an artificial pitch. And as you know, some of these council artificial pitches have got markings for all sorts of sports. Hang on, as Ben Rama gets out in the byline, and he's still got the ball at the byline. Plays it back to Antonio. Now, it's a bit early to be doing the corner flag stuff, West Ham. And Antonio thought that was a corner, and he needs to be a bit careful. He's already had words with the referee and got a yellow, but it's been given a goal kick. Yeah, all sorts of sports on these artificial pitches. And I was routinely kicking it out from this line that I thought was the penalty area. And during a stoppage, the linesman came over, so the guys running the line came over and said, just a point. He said, it's that one, not that one. And I've been about 5 yards outside the penalty area. I don't know what the pitch was, and he said, I knew it wasn't deliberate, so I wasn't giving it. But it's only a friendly game anyway. But
happens a lot. Though. Happens a lot. You do see it often, and I do wonder why it's not picked up on.
Well, a cross came in from the left this time, and went up in the air, and Diop saw it out for a corner. So 3 minutes plus, there'll be a good 5 of stoppage, I suspect. It was Diop. Johnson saw it out for the corner. Need to be vigilant again, West Ham. Don't we like corners? Corner comes in again. A couple of headers there, but it's cleared long by Diop, and we can live to breathe another day. So
88 minutes, pretty much up now. It's West Ham United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. The Hammers been pretty much clinging on to that narrow advantage since Spurs scored their only goal of the game, coming from Mora in the 63rd minute. But West Ham hanging on in there. As I said, Rio, are Spurs going to do to us what we did to them a few months ago at the Lane?
I think if there's going to be another goal coming, it's going to be from them. They're absolutely battering us at the moment. I'm just glad we're not in a stadium. The first time I've ever said that, because at least upstairs I've got a change of underwear. If I was next to the ground, I think I would have peed myself about 18 times already. This is unwatchable at the moment.
There's been, of course, an interesting conversation in the week about whether West Ham have been affected by supporters not being in the stadium. And you kind of, think that if there was an example of that being the case, this is definitely the game, Pinky, where, you'd have 60,000 Hammers kind of looking through their fingers at what's going on in front of them right now.
Well, sadly, not in the part of the ground I sit in, because you know what, thousands would get up to go and get the free pint that they get, in the bloody lounge or whatever it is. But
bring it away, West Ham.
Played it there, but I mean, this is the classic nail biter, isn't it? Now, because this is peak West Ham United. Yeah, not really, be bothered about the whole game into the last 3 minutes, and then suddenly we're all absolutely cacking it. It's marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. What makes it even better is the desperation from Tottenham, because they'll be there going, we're battering West Ham. We should have done this. We should have done that. But I've just got a feeling this is staying how it is. Dare I say it? No. I'm not having all that. I'm not having all that. Round about now, I'll be looking towards the Tottenham end and giving it large towards their supporters. I wouldn't wait to the final whistle. I'll be doing it now. Because you've got to have some confidence, haven't you? We've won this game. There you go. I'm calling it.
We are just about into added on time. Gnome, have we seen how many minutes have been played on?
It's 90 minutes played now. I'm waiting for the figure to come up. Still no figure. 5 seconds into stoppage. Tottenham are working it around the edge. I've got 5 minutes to stoppage.
5 plus 5 added on.
And they've gone down again, and I've often jokingly referred to Tottenham as Liverpool as Southall. Watching Ali here, make sure he goes down. There's a little bit of a touch.
It's a foul, Gordon. I mean, come on, let's take these claret and blue ticket specs off just for a second. It was he's made the most of it. Free kick, about 32, 33 yards out. Left-hand side as Tottenham look at our box. Song, and is that ball looking over it? Song's going to chips it in, headed out to the edge of the box, trying to work out shots, but no, cleared by West Ham. And too easy for Bale, that.
The danger averted. I read an interesting theory the other day. Someone on the KUMB forum was talking about these exact situations and saying that they're quite happy to see the opposition awarded a free kick.
Well, somewhat very fortunate deflection. Now, could we do something here?
I have no idea what's going on. There's lots of oohs and ahs and talk of deflections, but it's...
There's a very unfortunate deflection, caught Fabianski out of position, came back off the post, and then clearance at the other end, saw Benrahma nearly get in with some, again, terrible goalkeeping for Lloris, but it's back, Tottenham now back on the attack again, and as you'd imagine, and it's out on the right-hand side with Bale again, who's jockeying for position, gets it down to the byline, gets across, chips across up, and Souček's up there again, and Soufal and Dawson and Benrahma heads out. Benrahma, you needed to hold on to the ball a little bit there. That's good play from Soufal. Does an interception, takes it all down to the line, and plays it all the way back into the Tottenham half where they've got to go and retrieve it.
2.5 minutes. Hanging on. 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to go. That's all it takes. Tottenham maybe one, maybe two more chances. And then it's over. The Hammers clinging on to fourth place in the Premier League as things stand.
Hey!
And there's cheers. There's cheers from below.
Some put it high and wide. So by the time the ball gets back, there'll be 2 minutes left. It was an attempted clearance, I think, from Soufal. It's hit a Tottenham player and just drifted over Fabianski's hand. It's hit Song, who knew nothing about that whatsoever. And it's just come back off the post. Just at the right angle to evade the Tottenham player coming in. So I'm glad I haven't got that heart monitor on there,
I'm kind of glad I'm about 30 seconds behind everyone because I'm not party to all this this emotion and increased heart rate that you're all suffering from. It is still West Ham United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1, I can tell you that. And we're into the last 100 seconds or so. The Hammers very, very close now, Rio, not long to go.
Yeah, Noble on for
I can't take much more of it. I really cannot take much more of this. This has absolutely destroyed me. Absolutely destroyed me. A minute ago, plus I guarantee it's around on another minute. If we survive this, this will be an absolute miracle. But this season's been all about miracles, so let's believe, eh? Let's believe.
The final substitution of the day. It's by West Ham. Jesse Lingard scoring, as we said, scored the last goal for Jose Mourinho's Manchester United, and he scored the last goal, or the most recent goal, against Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspur.
That is just magnificent from Souček. He's got a tackle in, he's got another tackle in, and drawn the foul from Moura. So it's been stupendous, and I'm calling Souček man of the match now before anyone else does. He's just been. I mean, do they have granite in Czech? Is that with the Czech Republic? Because that's what he seems to be made of. He's been everywhere. Top man, and great piece of play there now. Well, we're now in added time on added time. Let's see, Fabianski launches it. Still going to add on a few more, and Sanchez just tries to wallop it north, but it's bouncing around, ball's not on the floor, but Tottenham giving it one last go. And that's headed back carefully by Soufal. Well played, son. And I think we're just about there now. I think it's once Fabianski can get rid of this ball.
Come on!
Yes!
Are we there? Is that it? I've lost my stream totally. I have no idea what's going on. I take it. That is it. That is the final whistle. West Ham United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. The Hammers rise to 4th in the Premier League. Michail Antonio opening the scoring after just 5 minutes from a Jared Bowen cross. The lead extended, doubled in the second minute of the second half by Jesse Lingard surviving an offside flag, a VAR check ruling that the goal should have actually stood as it was. Tottenham getting a goal back in the 63rd minute from Lucas Moura, header at the near post from a Gareth Bale corner where he beat Cresswell to the ball. And Tottenham absolutely pummeling West Ham for the next half hour or so. But it doesn't matter. The Hammers hold out somehow to record a win in this afternoon's big London derby. Rio, West Ham 2, Tottenham 1, 4th in the Premier League. What do you make of all that then?
That was borderline terrifying. That is the most scary 90 minutes of football I've watched for many a year. You know, we started off brightly in each half, but after that, we kind of caved in, regressed on ourselves, let Tottenham exert all the pressure that they wanted. And they had chance after chance after chance. But someone was spying us today. We're just watching back the attempts of, like Sky just shown it, when they hit the post, when they hit the bar. How they have not won that game 4-2 is beyond me. But you know what? When people get the cup finals and lose, it's devastatingly painful for them. So, you know, commiserations, Tottenham. You're back where you're supposed to be. Run us up as per usual. I presume the fighting cock is going to go into absolute meltdown over the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
So your opposition is going to be more like War and Peace, I would believe. It's not going to be a little bite-sized element this week, is it? It's going to be the full tome, the full 25 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica-sized opposition view. It's going to be an absolute joy to read.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy one, that's for sure. West Ham 2, Tottenham 1. The Hammers up to 4th in the Premier League. Just 1 point behind Leicester City in 3rd place. Just 1 point behind Manchester United in 2nd. About 1 million points behind Manchester City in 1st, but so are everyone else. But the Hammers absolutely flying now, Gnome. And, well, it was a backs-to-the-wall performance, wasn't it? But we got there in the end.
You like a stat. Yeah, hang on, Gray. I've got to charge my phone up because my phone's as knackered as I am, I think, at the moment.
All right,
you like a good stat, though, don't you?
I do. What have you got for me?
I've got one for you.
Okay.
I've got one for you. If Manchester City win today, Liverpool will be closer to Fulham than they are to Manchester City.
Oh, we like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So,
but anyway, what a game. What do you make of it? What are your instant thoughts? Are you with us? Shall I come back to you?
I'm there.
I'll tell you what, I'll come back to you. All right, you've got us now. Back to the Gnome.
First thing is I want to rest. I want to lie down. Do you know what? I mean, beating them's fun. It's always fun because all the entitlement, that's how title chance is gone and all that stuff. Like you had them in the first place. But doing it like that, I don't like what it does to my heart and everything. But at the end of it, when you look back, it makes it even funnier, doesn't it? It's the fact that we were able to sit back and let them batter us and still know. We rode our luck. God knows we've not had any luck against them from time to time. So, sod 'em, basically. If I'm allowed to say that, and you're not going to bleep me again.
I think you're all right with that one. You're still sore about that one, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes, I jolly well am.
Blame YouTube, not me. Talking of stats, Gnome, here's one for you. Jose Mourinho has earned 81 points after his first 50 league matches in charge of Tottenham, which is his lowest total at this stage of any managerial stint in his career. He took 124 at Porto, 126 at Chelsea in his first spell, 113 at Inter, 123 at Real Madrid, 114 in his second spell at Chelsea, 95 at Manchester United, where they couldn't wait to get him out, and only 81 at Tottenham so far. Pinky, is he going? Is this the end for Jose?
I think it should be. It really should, because you've only got to look at the fighting cock for half an hour to see that there's no real love for the man. There's an awful lot of hatred, and there's almost nobody defending him. And then that's the real sign, is the fact that no one will shove their head above the parapet and go, I think he's really good. Clearly, as a football club, they've lost their way, which is always nice to see. Money, of course, will be at the root of it all. They've spent, £1 billion on their shiny, empty stadium, which, one shudders to think what the interest bill is going to be that on your repayment mortgage, but it won't be small. So they're going to be selling players, and I think as a football club, the only thing that's keeping Jose in a job will be maybe waiting to the end of the season, and him and Levy can sit down and reach amicable agreement that saves Levy some compensation. But as a manager of that club, I think his race is run, because the supporters, clearly, they were never happy with the style of football that's being played.
Yeah.
And it's the old argument. If you're not happy with the style, well, the results had better be good.
Mm-hmm.
But there they are, languishing down in mid-table. The season's effectively done for them. I think they're in the final of some competition or others, at the League Cup or something. But to Tottenham Hotspur, so what? They haven't built that shiny new stadium to be winning the League Cup. They've built that shiny stadium to be featuring in the Champions League season after season after season, and they're not going to be there next season. That isn't going to happen. I mean, Jose will come out now and he'll make all the excuses about Thursday night football, but there's a reason it's Thursday night football. It's because they're actually not good enough to play on the Wednesday night, and so the fact they haven't had much time off, well, do you know what? That's what you've got a squad for. The rest of us have to suffer all that. Who's got a smaller squad than David Moyes? And here we are sitting in 4th place. I mean, some of our supporters will say they're not very happy with the style of the football, what have you, but the results are there. And that's the long and the short of it is, you've got to have one or the other, preferably both. But if you're not going to be pretty, at least make sure you're winning. And Tottenham aren't doing that. So I think Jose's run in English football is his race is run now. I think because you're looking at the clubs that he's been through, who else could afford his salary? Yeah. And there aren't many. So, I think enough about them now. I think for us today, if I'm being honest, we were unpicked with too much ease at times by Tottenham. I think, Tottenham had plenty of chances to score today and failed to do so. They've got in Harry Kane, who I think is probably the best striker in the Premier League. And the fact that he didn't get anywhere near getting a goal today, for whatever reason, you could say, well, we've defended well. I think I agree with Gordon in terms of man of the match. I think Souček today was superb. He's gone in clearly where it hurts. Antonio in the first half, he did plenty to earn his pay today. For us, 2-1, 4th spot, and a clean 4th spot. No one else can get to us. They win their games in hand. They're beneath us in the table. So very, very happy. And I'm just looking at the game that's about to start here now, Leicester against Villa. Dare I say it, I'll probably take a Villa win rather than anything else. So that's a sign that we're looking up the table, not below us, and what today's win's done for us is we get a free punch against Man City. Yeah. Because no one expects to get anything against Man City. So if you win today and you lose against City, it's, well, so what? If you lose today and you lose against City, it starts to look a bit, But for my money, let's look up the table. Leicester today, if they drop points, 3rd spot again. Could be on.
Who knows? It's turning into a quite remarkable season. And we were touching on stats. We spoke about Mourinho there. Of course, we don't want to talk about Tottenham too much. It's all about West Ham today. But one player who did particularly well today, we spoke about Thomas Souček, of course, who went off with that injury early on, and his compatriot, Soufal, with the rib injury. Later in the game, stood strong, come back and performed magnificently, kept Son pretty much out of the game for much of it. But Declan Rice also had a very good game in the centre of the park. Some statistics as far as Declan is concerned: 100% aerial duels won, 83% pass accuracy, 10 ball recoveries, including that one in the first half. Gnome, I think it was you who likened it to the Bobby Moore challenge in the 1970 World Cup. 5 tackles attempted, 4 tackles won, 3 interceptions, 3 clearances. Another massive performance by the skipper for the day in the centre of the park. Overall stats, I should just point out before we carry on. Possession, West Ham 31%, Tottenham 69%. West Ham 4 shots, 4 shots on target. Tottenham 20 shots, 4 shots on target. West Ham 5 corners, Tottenham 7 corners. West Ham committed 14 fouls to Tottenham 7. The final XG for the match, expected goals statistic: West Ham 1.12, slightly up on half-time when it was 1.07. Spurs 1.07, up from 0.56 as it was at the break. Rio, we've got Gnome and Pinky's man of the match in Thomas Souček. Will you go against the grain? Was there anyone else who stood out a little bit more for you today?
Normally, I would agree with that, but you've just mentioned him, Declan Rice. I thought he's absolutely exemplary today, led by example. A game where he was under the cosh largely for, I'd say, about 75% of that game, 80% of that game. We didn't defend particularly well. It was far too scary. We were far too open at the back for a change. But Declan really stood out for me. That tackle in the first half was Bobby Moore-esque. I can't give any higher praise than that. But his all-round play was just a step above. And you look at one of his contemporaries playing for Tottenham today, Eric Dyer. there's no comparison. Declan Rice is 10 times the player Eric Dyer would ever want to be.
Yeah.
And he's still growing. He's still learning. He's only ever going to get better. You know, he's an absolute Rolls Royce of a footballer, and we're lucky to have him.
Very much so. Very much so. Just touching briefly on Tottenham. I said I wouldn't, but I'm just going to read out a quick stat. It's 1 winning 6 for Tottenham now. They've lost 5 of their last 6 Premier outings. Almost Liverpool-esque form, that one, Gnome, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just... do you want to come back to me? Because I've got Lingard on
Sure.
with an interview coming back. So
Okay.
Come back to me because it's just literally come on.
We'll do. Then, Pinky, I'll come on to you. Yeah, sorry, Pinky, you were going to come in there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, interesting Rio's comments there on, Declan Rice. If you want to hang on to Declan Rice at West Ham United Football Club, this is how you do it. You finish further up the league table than the teams that are likely to come in for him. So you can actually say to Declan, well, why do you want to join a team lower down the league system? And all of this is strengthening the chairman's hand, strengthening the manager's hand, because they can sit there and say, Declan, you're playing at London's top club. And at this point in time, that is a fact. The league table, as we're always told, when we're normally in the bottom 6, we're always told when we're in the bottom 6, the table doesn't lie. Well, do you know what? We're in the top 4. Table's telling the truth at this point in time. And who knows, if we can stay there for the rest of this season, and I've touched on maybe even going up a spot, then Declan Rice, come the summer, has got a real tough decision to make, because he'll get well paid wherever he plays. I mean, if he turned out for Thundersley Rovers, you'd give him an all-time record signing on fee and all the rest of it. But wherever he goes, he would be well paid. And I'm sure, he would be West Ham's best ever paid player. No question of that. But it's about, we talk about players' ambitions and wanting to win things. Can you imagine David Sullivan sitting down with him in the summer and saying, do you know what? Not only are we going to build the team around you, Declan, because of what the players have done this season, I'm now going to hand David Moyes the biggest ever transfer kitty in West Ham's history. And we're going to go for it. And we're going to go into Europe. We're going to try and do something. That would mean more to Declan Rice in terms of getting him to sign than an extra 50 grand a week in his wages. Because he's getting the extra 50 grand a week anyway.
Yeah.
What he wants is a better team and better players around him. And this is the way to go about it. Because when players in the summer are saying, who do I join? If you're in those Champions League spots, players will join you. They'll join you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll say, we know it's a rubbish football stadium. We know the supporters hate it. We know the chairman's a bit of a wally and all the rest of it. But do you know what? They're in the Champions League, so I'll have a go with West Ham. That's the long and the short of it.
Declan Rice has just taken to Twitter for his first post-match message. It says simply, we won't talk too much. And with a load of fire emojis to follow it. Rio, Tottenham beaten in their cup final at Stratford. What a remarkable match it was. We touched on the fact that VAR went in our favour earlier in the game. The goal that in the end was enough to keep West Ham ahead and win all 3 points was initially flagged offside, but upon a VAR review given, lots of luck at the end. The bar and the post coming to our assistance as well. It's just one of those seasons. Have you ever known West Ham to have so much luck over the course of not luck, because let's be honest, we are where we are on merit, but you've got to say we had a little bit of a helping hand today.
Oh, today we had more than a helping hand. We had people turn up with JCBs and 20-ton trucks and dumping luck outside our front door, to be honest, today. They're hitting the woodwork at the end now. It was just unreal, absolutely unreal. It wasn't a pretty performance, It's the first time I can actually say that at times we defended rather poorly and quite naively. And for a David Moyes side this season, we've been absolutely exemplary at that all season. The goal that we did concede, we've been so sharp from set pieces, not only in the attacking sense, but from defending sense this season. The goal we did concede, poor Aaron got absolutely rolled by Mora. And it was a shocking goal to give away, absolutely shocking goal to give away. But the amount of times we've seen us cave in and capitulate and walked away from stadiums absolutely devastated because our defensive frailties have let us down at the wrong moment,
Yep.
Just delightful to come away with a victory like that. Well, we're not played at our best. They've got, in Gareth Bale, Son, Harry Kane, 3 rather highly rated and coveted by a lot of clubs in Europe, but like in attacking sense, they've got 3 of the best players in potentially Europe. And Son and Kane didn't do a lot today,
Well, let's talk about Son because. Sorry, Rio. I just wanted to touch on Son quickly because, we've seen you guys have gone for Souček and Rice between you as man of the match. I thought Kufal was absolutely magnificent today. I think Son is one of the best players in Europe when he's on his game. And bar the odd chance, I thought Soufal, given that he had little protection in front of him as well, I thought Soufal was absolutely fantastic today. And also, let's not forget, he sustained a little bit of a nasty injury. I think Gnome pointed out he felt it was the ribs. And what did you make of that? I mean, are you with me on that one that, he did a great job on Son?
Yeah, we pointed out in the first half that every single Tottenham attack seemed to come down the right-hand side. They targeted Soufal and Bowen as the weak link.
Mm-hmm.
They had to refocus in the second half. They completely switched their plan of attack because, once again, Soufal has done an absolutely amazing job.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Son's their best player. Kane's not their best player at all.
Right.
It's Son. He just absolutely makes them tick. And when he's on fire, he's at times unstoppable. He's playing for a really poor Tottenham side. If he wants to make anything of his career, he's got to move on. There's a little spot in East London just waiting for him. He'd fit in rather well over here, I think. But yeah, Soufal, everything that gets thrown at him, and poor Jared Bowen got run ragged in front of him today, and so Soufal had almost double the work to do, but he just mans up. He's unflappable, for £4.5 million or £5 million, whatever he cost. I don't think there's been a better purchase in the Premier League all year. What you've gained from Vladimir Soufal in terms of ability, heart, courage, effort, work rate, the lot. There's not a better value signing in the Premier League this year. He's just absolutely superb.
No, I'm inclined to agree. He's been absolutely magnificent. Son, most definitely not on fire this afternoon in Stratford. One player who was on fire, was Jesse Lingard, scored the second goal. Another great performance. 4 goals now, I think that is for the Hammers. He's been speaking to the TV broadcasters after the game. What did he have to say?
Yeah, I believe Sky gave man of the match to Lingard, so there's another candidate for you. Basically, you called it a brilliant win. The lads are buzzing. We grafted. He talked about maintaining the intensity of the first half in the second half, which is fair to say they had to do. Talking about himself, he said it's brilliant. The lads have taken to me. I've settled in very quickly. I'm playing each game with a smile on my face. I think I mentioned that before in the past. And he's enjoying his football, and that's the most important thing. We've got the same mindset. We've got goals for the end of the season and the same targets, but we're not looking at the table too much. And cliche alert, we'll take it game by game. And but it's an enjoyable position to be in. So yeah, sort of stuff you'd expect him to say. But I would say that it is good to see. Clearly, he came down south with the world on his shoulders, sort of thing, not getting a game at Man United.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult to come in because West Ham have been a team this season, which we so often haven't been. And so you're coming in, parachuted in from from up north, it can be difficult to sort of fit in with that sort of that team situation. But you saw the goal celebrations where everybody was sort of together with it, and he's fitting in really well. As I said, I think the first game he played for us, the smile on his face. I've got the summary of what David Moyes said. It's just appeared on my screen. If you'd like that.
Far away, yeah.
It's a great win for us. They're a tough opponent. We feel we can be better in possession, but let's not get carried away totally. We've still got some things to do. But simple things like hunger and the desire to succeed can cover up other things as well. I think if we'd had a bit more care, we could have got 2-0 up earlier in the game, but we didn't quite do that. Souček's a manager's dream. He is somebody who wants to play, really humble and enjoying being here. Jesse's always been a very good player. We shouldn't take that away. He's had a difficult year and he's giving us something else and helped us get better. We've only done half a job. If we continue this way, we'll be close. I don't want to be negative in any way, though. We're enjoying it, but we're also not going to be daft. We'll keep calm and hopefully keep pushing the teams at the top. We've always had bits where we've won big games, but what we want is consistency. I think we're beginning to have consistency. The club badly needs a level where they're not around the bottom. This time last year, you're asking me if we could avoid relegation. So it's a great feeling that is gone. There's always a first for everything, and Jose Mourinho had great teams wherever. I think he's talking there about his
first win,
managerial record.
Yeah,
he's up there with elite managers, but sometimes football can get you results like it did today. So there you go.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I think Moyes referred to that record, didn't he, against Mourinho in his press conference on Friday. I don't think he'd ever beaten a Mourinho team before during his managerial career. So first for Moisey as well there. Gnome, what did you make of what the boss had to say? Souček, a manager's dream. He said that we need to keep calm and maintain consistency. I mean, the sort of thing you'd expect to hear from a manager in that position, really.
It's sensible. I mean, you wouldn't expect much different from Moyes, but he's right. I mean, we're all enjoying it, but let's just see how far we can go. And we've said we didn't play brilliantly, and obviously we were sort of backs against the wall a little bit from time to time today. But the fact is that if you get that winning habit, which we've clearly got, then it's a good habit to have. So I think once everybody stopped laughing about the fact we've beaten Tottenham and all that, and I think he'll keep their feet on the ground, and rightly so, because after all, it's only Tottenham, who are 9th now, wherever that is, and so yeah, good, honest, sensible stuff from him. And as he said this time last year, you were saying, you're going to stay up. Well, enjoy looking at the table for 24 hours. Back to training tomorrow, and patch up the stuff.
Yeah.
So
good stuff. Good stuff. Really, it's. Well, I mean, it's a remarkable turnaround, isn't it, from this point last year when, as Gnome has pointed out, Moyes saying that we were fighting relegation, still, under threat of going down at this point last season.
We were just about to lose. I think it was last year, February. We went into lockdown in March, didn't we? And the last game I think we played was at Highbury, and we played well.
March the 7th, I think it was.
Yeah. So we're only a week or so around there, weren't we? But and we went up to Highbury, and how things changed. I can remember looking across. When we have them, I usually have the away season ticket, and you tend to be placed in the same place every year at Highbury, which is a long. We get an L-shaped bit, part of which goes behind the goal and part of which up the side. I was up the side, fairly close to where the Arsenal supporters were, and I was looking and thinking, "What is he wearing masks for?" And look, he's got a mask on. Yeah, I'm going to go for a fool like that. But we were a bit unfortunate to come away with that without any points from that game.
Yes,
but
we
it
were.
didn't feel great, did it? We were always going to be hoping that other teams were going to be worse, and I think post lockdown was just a revelation.
Yeah, it certainly was. Changed things, didn't it, entirely? And you're talking about Tottenham's position there, Gnome. There's now 9 points difference between West Ham and Tottenham. West Ham up to third in the table. Tottenham down in ninth. One winning 6 for them. I would imagine their fans are going to be going absolutely apoplectic, Pinky. This is going to be fun. Let's have a look at the Fighting Cock forum to see what the Spurs fans are saying right now.
Well, dare I say it, this is a family show, so it's difficult to pick out individual posts because, there's an awful lot of here that is, there you go. Incomplete user, Nam. They don't have a better team. We just have a manager that's way past his sell-by date. It's just post after post, page after page, painting Jose Mourinho. It really is. The Tottenham Boo Boys are clearly, they don't rate Dyer, they don't rate Sanchez, they don't rate Mourinho. I'm struggling to, they think Son is gassed, they think he's out of puff for the season. There's half a dozen posts a page criticising Harry Kane. You'd think they were in a relegation dogfight, and in particular, what surprises me, of course, that this game doesn't matter to Tottenham supporters. It doesn't matter to them. They're not bothered about how they do against West Ham. Yeah, and yet, imagine the reaction if they'd lost to Crystal Palace. If it's a game they're not bothered about, they're this upset. If they lost to Crystal Palace or Brentford or a London club of that sort of, Fulham, dare I say it, you could understand. They must go into that total meltdown. So if they're this upset losing to us, sorry, but we need a manager who recognises our attacking strengths and sets up accordingly. Guys, you had 17 shots or something like that. The reality is, it's one of those days where, if we're being honest, they could have beat us 5 or 6-2. They could have done.
Yep, no doubt.
But the truth is, they didn't. And that's the name of the game, because if football trophies were handed out for ifs and buts, we'd have a cupboard full of them. If this happened, if that happened. The reality is, what Tottenham are finding out, that when you're down on your luck, dare I say it, you really are down on your luck. And I half jokingly said it earlier about the start of the season, believing they can win the league with Gareth Southgate. He's there at Aston Villa, Leicester. He should have been at the London Stadium today. But they start the season thinking that Jose Mourinho is going to win in the league, and now they're all calling for his head. And I might actually have to join the Fighting Cock, actually take on the team and start the Allardyce in conversation. Because it's just here we go. There's one post here from Ciro. Not a popular opinion, but I don't think we deserve to lose this game. Yeah, but you did, Sam. That's how it is. Here you go. Norse. I won't give his second name because I think it's offensive, but there we go. Personally, I looked at Hugo the Clown at the first goal too. Hugo the Clown. So obviously, Lloris now is getting stick. Look at the positive. The new ball they are using looks ace. No leaders on the pitch. No one shouting, cajoling. They're not happy.
Fair to say. Fair to say. I think definitely not happy, are they? No doubt about that one.
Top 4 well and truly out of sight now. What do you mean now?
What now?
Now. That was out of sight when Lanzini banged it in. Yeah,
it was. That is where you get Tottenham. Like where everybody laughs at them because they're genuinely thinking that it was still it was still in play today. If they somehow they were going to go top 4, it wasn't happening. It really wasn't happening. Like when we drew 3-3, it was like, oh, there's the title gone. What title? You know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to the show from our two friends from Tottenham. I don't know what their names are, but the guys that
I'll let you watch it so I don't have to.
Okay.
Well, one recalls the Paul Merson moment, doesn't it? You know, when Jeff Stelling goes into like a 3-minute speech on, you know, and he uses the phrase, you know, Tottenham success, and Merson just sits there and goes, "What success?" You know, and you know, not for me to big up a former Gooner, but you know, I think he nailed him there, and you know, one of the more serious comments, and there aren't many serious comments on the fighting cock. I mean, it's just doom and gloom. I mean, it's just a cesspit of negativity in there this afternoon. the one sensible comment was, you know, from the post that just put in five defeats in 6 matches. You know, and had they not got off to a fairly decent sort of first dozen games or so, that's relegation form. 5 defeats in 6 is relegation form. So all joking apart, whatever is wrong at Tottenham Hotspur, it's serious. You know, 5 defeats in 6. We wouldn't be happy with that at West Ham at any time. You know, for Tottenham, you know, title aspirations, Champions League is a birthright. You know, glory, you know, do me a favour. What we saw today was some very physical, hard-working players, but they lacked that little bit of magic. Yep. You know, the Tottenham like to think they've always had that little bit of magic in their starting lineup. Mm-hmm. And what we're really seeing at Tottenham, frankly, is where we were in the Allardyce era, and all joking apart, their supporters are going to be fairly strongly split, I would think now, whereby they're making it perfectly clear they're not going to accept the Jose Mourinho brand of football any longer. And, you know, you just might think, if they let the crowds back in tomorrow, could Tottenham actually sell out their football ground with the football they're playing at the minute? I've got my doubts.
Well, as we said, it's going to be
sell their ground out.
Sorry?
Yeah, their football will not sell their ground out, right? The only thing I've ever been jealous about Tottenham, and I will be for a while, is that they're partnering up with a decent brewery to supply decent beer in their ground. That's the only reason they'll ever get crowds in that stadium. It won't be because of their football. It won't be because of the personnel. It certainly won't be because of their success, because they don't have any. But enough to a decent point.
There you go. Decent beer. At least Spurs are good for something after all. Of course, they will be good for an opposition view on KUMB tomorrow when we dissect the thoughts that Pinky has been bringing us from the Fighting Cock and maybe one or two other Spurs forums for that. So keep an eye out for that one. That's going to be something else I can tell you tomorrow morning on KUMB.com. Leicester and Aston Villa are playing now. Leicester looks like they're going to extend their lead over West Ham to 4 points if the opening 25 minutes is anything to go by, because goals from Maddison and Barnes have given the Foxes a 2-0 lead already at Villa Park. So they've started magnificently there, although Villa are looking to come back strongly. We've done the Fighting Cock. Let's do the KUMB.com forum match thread, Rio. You know, this for a change, I think both forums are going to be a joy to read this afternoon.
Yeah, but for us, there's a lot of humility. There's a lot of looking at games and looking at football in a manner it's supposed to be looked at with reason, with heart, with integrity. MB has put, what a great result, especially against these lot. But my God, for the sake of stress levels, can we please learn to keep the ball for more than 1 minute at a time? Everything Hammers, but I cannot wait for the opposition view. I just love the reaction of those poor deluded spuds after watching their team lose to little old West Ham. Well done, the Mosoya and the lads. Aging Hammer. Suchek was an absolute Goliath again. We used to rely on Bonds, but now we have a check. A monkey hanger. For me, that was the best win of the season, which I cannot agree with. Against the Sky 6 Club, with biased TV pundits, a biased ref, grit and determination from the whole team. Oh, I can't say that word. Annoying Mourinho, riding our luck and soaking up the pressure. It doesn't get much better than this. Dare we dream of Champions League? Yes, we can. To be honest, the whole place has gone so mental. One of our more notable posters, who tends to wind people up beyond belief, has come out with one of the best kind of summaries for it. And so Cardiff, here we come. Any team that gets a victory against an opponent with an attacking threat of Sun, Bale, Mora, Ali and Kane fully deserves the 3 points. We bring on Benrahma and Johnson. They bring on Ali and Bale. We need to strengthen our solid quality. But as we stand, team spirit we have in bundles. We don't just ever buckle. We work hard and we defend like warriors. You make me so very proud of West Ham United. Great win and a cracking 3 points. The whole forum is awash with kind of interesting, insightful and positive comments. Everyone's appreciative that 90 minutes was absolutely terrifying at times, but there was a lot of realism on their forum at the moment. No one's daring to dream too hard. No one's pushing the boundaries too far. It's just a lot of realism. Just one more thing I would like to point out.
Yep.
As a post earlier, just after Thomas Souček took that nasty boot to the head, which after being dabbed with potato salad mayonnaise, he'd got up and walked away with, and he's kind of fine. No. Tom Kamen put, can Thomas Souček be admitted to the pantheon of the West Ham Hall of Fame tough guys now? Which, it's not far away, is he?
No, not so. We've got that.
I think his countrymen might be up there as well.
Yeah,
his countrymen might be up there with him as well.
No.
Couple of things.
There's a lot to be proud of today.
Couple of things. Do you think that Souček is kind of like the Czech Popeye, and it's potato salad when he just sort of shovels down the potato salad, the muscles start coming out. So obviously,
definitely.
Remember those old, really horrible, useless black and white cartoons that used to come in from Eastern Europe, but when you were at school, sort of thing in the 60s. Oh, just me then. The Czechoslovakia, as was, couldn't afford spinach, so they had the worker with his potato salad, probably putting the capitalists to rest. So I've got some comments from Mourinho.
Yes, please. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Gnome, actually, if he'd spoken. So looking forward to this one as well. Far away.
I've actually got the stuff has just come up on the screen anyway.
Okay.
Okay. I feel sad, obviously. I feel the result should have been a different one from what we played, especially in the second half. That's my feeling, and it's a little bit of deja vu. Their defensive line was brilliant. Their centre-backs gave us a very difficult match. We started the game with a mistake and started the second half with another one. The team in the second half were trying absolutely everything. We had the chances hitting the post, great crosses across the face of goal. We had easy shooting positions to score, so we should have scored more goals. I've spoken about this for a long time, and it's not always good to stay on the same page. I believe people who watched the game understood completely the nature of the goals we conceded. They fought. This is not a criticism. It is to praise their spirit. They fought hard, but they just fought. We were the team that tried to play, but the boys were not lucky. Talking about Gareth Bale, I know his quality. I cannot say everything to you. I shouldn't. I don't want to. I believe as a coach, I don't have to speak so much about the situation. But with Gareth Bale completely fit and ready to play 90 minutes of every game, of course he would. We're trying everything with him to recover him to be at a good level. To play 65 minutes as he did on Thursday, and then today, he couldn't start the game today. He wouldn't have 90 minutes to give us. But I'm happy because we know what he brings. He brings quality. Very unlucky shot, because in that situation, we had a double shot to score, but didn't. Talking about the top four, before this game, I was not looking at the table. I was looking to the game, and the objective was to win. And when you win, you then look to the table to see where you are. It's very difficult to think about the top four. The top 4, 5, 6 teams are all getting points. It'll be very, very hard. The Europa League is a great motivation to get a Champions League spot and a trophy at the same time. The boys fight, and when the team fights, you can believe good things can happen. There you go.
Excellent. Well, no surprise there. Mourinho again. I mean, he was stressing how unlucky he felt Tottenham had been and how he felt they deserved more in his Friday press conference. Again, they're saying that he felt they were a little unjustly denied a point or at least 3 points today, saying that they were the team who tried to play and West Ham faults, West Ham's defensive line being brilliant. But for Tottenham, it was a case of deja vu. What a shame. What a terrible shame. But anyway, listen, we're going to move on. We want to talk about West Ham because it's been an incredible season so far. And I think week in, week out, they continue to surprise us. I should just point out before we do carry on, kudos to Gnome and Pinky, who both called it spot on today. 2-1 wins for West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
So well done,
What's your
gentlemen.
prize?
Well done on that one. And I want to talk about Champions League football. Rio mentioned it in his roundup from the KUMB.com forum. The question has been asked by Liam on YouTube chat saying, can we dream of Champions League football? Well, I guess, Liam, we can always dream about it. Pinky, could it be a reality?
Yeah, we could do. I don't think it'd be a formality, but we've put ourselves in a position where, with 25 games gone, we're in the right end of the table. We're in a clean fourth spot, so no one could catch us with games in hands and things like that. We're beating teams that traditionally we might have struggled against. I mean, just to go back to today's game very briefly, it was a win that reminded me the same kind of win we got against Manchester City on Antonio's debut, where we'd been largely battered for the game, but we held on for the win, and team spirit goes an awful long way, particularly in a season such as this, whereby, and we spoke about this a few weeks ago, we're now getting into the interesting stage of the season whereby teams who've got nothing to play for, they can't smell Europe and they don't fear defeat. Most seasons, when the supporters are in the grounds, they will keep the teams relatively honest. Just the fact that, we still expect you to run, lads. We're not the only group of supporters that dishes it out to players that aren't putting in a full shift. So other club supporters will do likewise. I think what will really define this season is when the players who are at clubs who've got nothing really to play for, let's say from 9th down to 15th, that's sort of those half a dozen clubs there. So I don't know who that'd include. I mean, that'd be from Tottenham down to wherever, to Burnley. When the players at those clubs stop running, they're the teams you really want to be playing between now and the end of the season, because they'll just be rolling over. There'll be a lot of rollover results. And if we've got enough of those left still to play, then I think we've got a very good chance. The teams, that would make it very difficult are the top six, because Liverpool aren't going to give up completely. They'll keep pushing to try and recover from what for them has been a disastrous season. I mean, no question about it. Chelsea will obviously keep trying. And very interesting yesterday, the Chelsea manager subbed a sub. So it isn't just David Moyes that does that. So the Chelsea manager did that yesterday with an arguably more senior player. So is it possible? Yeah, it is. And I make no bones about it. I said right at the start, get your passports ready, boys and girls. First thing tomorrow, I'll be going down Woolworths and going to the little photo booth just to get my photo taken so I can send it off to the passport office. So there you go. I need a new passport, and hopefully sometime middle of next month, a nice shiny blue one will drop through the letterbox. And dare I say it, and it could well be Champions League. But I'll just be happy to finish as high up the league table as we can. I think in many ways this season could have been disastrous. We haven't invested enough, but what we have invested, we've invested very wisely. I think David Moyes and his team of coaches deserve enormous credit, because we saw again today on the things they can influence: basic organisation, set moves. I mean, there were 2 throw-ins today where we've played a very deep throw down to the dead ball line to force a corner kick, and it worked twice. If that wasn't the players deciding to do that off the cuff during the game, the coaching staff have actually coached them to do that. Said, right, when you were in this position, this is going to be our set move to force the corner. Yeah, we did it twice today, and it worked twice today. And 2 corner kicks today, whereby very clearly we're going to have the big lad coming from deep. Yeah, so you're going to put that ball from the corner kick at this height, right in the middle. So let's say 13 yards from the goal for the on-running player to get on the end of.
So you're talking here about the Dawson and Diop headers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start. Yeah.
These things don't happen by accident.
Yeah.
This is what David Moyes, Nolan, Pearce, they do all week. This is what they're doing with the players all week.
Yeah.
And these things are working. And how many times have we seen in the past? And it wasn't so very long ago where I think under Pellegrini, we were looking at some of these things, and it was like the ball was being put out to the D in the corner, and no West Ham player going towards it because we weren't sure who was taking the corner kick. Similarly on throw-ins, it used to be a case of, oh no, it's a throw-in, we're going to surrender possession because there isn't a plan to retain the ball. So, I don't think we're in 4th spot by accident. I think we're punching above our weight because we're being coached better with very clear, simple, but unambiguous plans to say we're going to do this, 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 and this. Yeah. And it's working. And, and I think if David Moyes gets the reward of his team in the Champions League spot come May, I think he'll have earned it. And I think the players will have earned it. It's not luck. That's my whole point. It isn't luck.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's been a thoroughly, you can't be this lucky after 25 weeks of the season, of course. Rio, we talk so often about 1985-86, the boys of 86, when that West Ham team achieved the club's best ever top flight finish of 3rd place in the old Division 1. Now, I think we're always kind of wrestling. We talk about, and we have done before, about can West Ham do it again? Can we finish in the Champions League? Can we make Europe? And, we sort of talk about it, but I'm not sure any of us really think that could happen. We're winning week in, week out. This is 7 wins from 9 now, I think, in 2021, which is the same as we achieved in 2007, of course, which is something I was talking about on our YouTube channel earlier this week with Daniel Hurley about in his new book, The Great Escape. Have a look at that interview if you want to reminisce about that season. But of course, this is a completely different season this year. Can we finish in the top 3 or will we? Do you think we can really do it now? As I say, we talk about it and I don't think any of us really believe it. But David Moyes surely has got to have us believing now, hasn't he? Has he?
Even now, I think the odds are stacked against us a little, no? But that's only for the pure reason that at the start of the season, we wasn't backed enough in the transfer market. We let depth in numbers, depth in quality. Just look at our bench today, as Carly KUMB mentioned on the forum.
Yeah.
Look at our bench today in compared to Tottenham. But what that is so tight-knit, full of self-belief, incredibly well-drilled, very well coached, nothing's impossible. I think our next 5 or 6 games will define that.
Yeah.
Obviously next week is the title decider, us and City. City have the edge at the moment, obviously. Just in terms of pure financial muscle.
Yeah, but, just about.
You just never know, do you? But the games after that, we've come up against the Arsenals, the Manchester Uniteds, the Wolves, the Leicesters, and we put in, against Wolves and Leicester, we absolutely battered them. Against Arsenal, we should have won. We was unlucky to come away with defeat. Manchester United in the league, we absolutely battered them for 45 minutes, And even in the second half, he was undone by a goal that went out of play. You know, You have to believe now. You know, you have to have the positivity. And let's face it, if we can, dare I say, nick that third or fourth spot in the Champions League, it can reinvigorate our whole club and our whole future.
Yeah.
Just one decent group spell in maybe a little progression to knockout stages in the Champions League. Look what we did for Leicester. I know they won the league, but that was kind of fortuitous that season. Right? The next season, they had a little bit of a fallout, but they've regrouped, recruited well, spent enough money in that recruitment in a sensible manner. And that's the thing. Under David Moyes, if we, and please, we retain his services and his coaching staff's services, if you gave him the funds that the Champions League push can generate and potentially, it propels you into a different level, doesn't it? You know, and if you trust in the player recruitment, I mean, look what he's done with the Czech players we were signed. You know, it took us. It's just unreal what he's accomplished on such a limited budget.
Yeah,
it could absolutely reinvigorate this whole club. You know,
yeah.
It would give belief back to the support. You know, we're still never going to be fully on board with the ownership. But if you give this manager the funds, give the support the belief, our whole club could completely change 360, 180 degrees. You know,
I've got to ask you here, Rio, just quickly coming in. Sorry, buddy, but coming in there. But you mentioned the board. Now, it's sort of almost a can a leopard change its spot situation here, isn't it? This is, you know, we know David Moyes is doing a fantastic job. His team are doing a fantastic job. His backroom staff are all doing a fantastic job. But there's still this lingering feeling that it's all in spite of the board and not, you know, with the help of the board. Can they change? Yeah. Do you see them actually, you know, ceding that decision making to David Moyes and saying, look, you know, you're doing a fabulous job on the pitch. We're going to give you full control, almost like, in a sense, the way that managers used to run football clubs, where, you know, the manager, and talking about West Ham, I guess we're going back to the Harry Redknapp era, perhaps, and John Lyle, people like that, where managers had full control over everything at the football club. Can you ever see this board, you know, David Sullivan saying, you know what, I appreciate that you've done a better job in the transfer market, or potentially could do a better job than me. I'm going to give you full control. Do you think that's ever likely to happen?
The bottom line for them is the whole financial aspect. And if it generates them more money in the long term, makes them a little bit richer, because they're not in it for the love. They're in it purely for the financial gain. If it makes them a few more quid, I can see them relinquishing a little bit of control in terms of that aspect. Okay. I think David Sullivan always considers himself a football man. He'll have want to have some kind of degree of how can I put it, having his finger in the pie in some aspect. But if it makes them a few more quid, they might take a further seat back, and a seat back, and a seat back, until they're sitting on their money bags at the back of the stand going, thanks, Dave, you earned me an extra like 5 or 6 million here.
Okay, so as far as Rio's concerned, it's all about the money. Could it happen? Gnome, Champions League we've been talking about. Do you think West Ham can do it this year? Is this we're in fourth place at the moment? There's a gap now, and Pinky's touched on it. The gap is opening up between West Ham and the teams below us. You know, Chelsea, of course, are only a couple of points adrift, but you look to sixth place Liverpool. We're 5 points ahead of Liverpool. Everton have a game in hand, of course, but still 5 points adrift. Then it's Villa and Tottenham, 8th and 9th, in 36 points, 9 points behind. We're going to have to, you know, in some ways, it's almost ours to throw away now, isn't it? Or at very least a Europa League spot.
I think we need to do what we've been doing. And yeah, I mean, firstly, the answer to the question is yes, obviously we can make Champions League or Europa League. We have it within our capability to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these things where we should banish all thoughts of it from our minds.
Yeah.
So that then see what we got at the end of the season. So it's almost like cover up the league table and take a peek at the end of the season.
And to his credit, Moyes, I think he's doing that, isn't he?
Yeah,
As
exactly,
you've seen his interviews, yeah.
I mean, you can't banish it completely from your head, but I mean, you know, we've said, only half joking, like a couple of weeks ago, now we've got 40 points. Well, that's relegation sort of knocked on the head. And then somebody points out, well, we need more than 42 just to be sure. And so yeah, let's do it like that. Let's not look at it in that way. Let's just finish as high as we possibly can.
Yeah.
What we get, we get. Let's not let the potential goals distract us from the basic principle of just, you know, playing your socks off and doing what you can. It's just one of those, like, yeah, superstitious thing. Let's not jinx it. Let's look, Champions League. Oh, that's handy. Yeah, let us be surprised by it if it happens at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know, and because the worst thing in the world, we go to the last game, you need a point or 2 points or something, and then you focus on it, and all the good work you've been doing goes out the window because you're focusing on this one thing that you, rather than just concentrating on winning. And it is cliche, but each game as it comes, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be terrible. But no, let's just go for it and
let's dream.
Yeah. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not giving it any thought whenever, other than to laugh at other clubs who are going to struggle to make it because they think they've got a right to be there. But I mean, it's the usual thing. They keep changing the format, don't they, of the Champions League as well? They're trying to give. I mean, it's the usual thing with Liverpool. They're trying to give so-called elite clubs a sort of extra place in the Champions League if they don't qualify, on the grounds they might have won it before, which is like, you know, oh, there you go, come in. Hang on a second, I finished above them. Well, yeah, but they won it 20 years ago. Well, yeah, I mean, it is so. They're trying to throw so many bones at the likes of Liverpool to stop them going off with Barcelona and your AC Milan, Inter Milans, and Juventus and your PSGs to form their own Super League. And every time I see sort of like, you know, UEFA rule changes or even Premier League rule changes, the first thing to look at is who's going to benefit from this. And the league change that was before, where it was going to give everybody who'd been in the league a set number of years was going to have a sort of right of veto over everything. Oh, who's that then? Oh, Liverpool. Well, that's a surprise. You know, so I think about the Champions League for them and how desperate they are to get in it by any sort of back door if they can't actually qualify. You know, so I'll laugh at everybody else going for it. If we get in it, great, let's go for it.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely the way to look at it, and I'm sure that's the way that Moyes is instructing his players: is don't think too much about it, just carry on doing what you're doing, keep racking up those wins, keep racking up those points, and what will be will be. And it's, you know, it's definitely working so far, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're going to wrap up pretty soon now. We've done just over an hour or so of our post-match discussion, looking back at West Ham United's win over Tottenham. Let me say that once again. West Ham United's win over Tottenham, a win that catapults the Hammers. Well, not exactly catapults, sort of throws us over the wall probably, from 5th into 4th place.
Sorry, you're bending over on your back and I'm standing on it as I scramble over.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, it's not exactly a pretty crap catapult, really. But
we're going scramping for European places.
Yes, exactly. We kind of done a Humpty Dumpty and fell off the 5th place wall into 4th place. But I want to finish by looking ahead to next week. Pinky mentioned it was the title decider, rather jovially. I'm sure not particularly seriously, but who knows? Who knows the way things are going? West Ham United versus Manchester City, should I say, versus West Ham United next weekend. Pinky, you pointed out earlier in the stream that it was almost like a free punch for West Ham, I think was the phrase you used, in terms of the position we're in now means, you know, it doesn't really matter what happens. But, you know, for Moisey, what an opportunity this is to show just how good this West Ham team are.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it is a free punch, but also it's better than just us having a puncher's chance, if you know what I mean. And we can go to Man City and compete. I'm certainly not expecting a 5-0 drubbing. Let's put it that way. You know, so if we go up there, if it turns out that we lose by the odd goal, yeah, pint of bothered, because do you know what? No one's getting much against Man City. Was it 17, 18 games, one on the spin, something like that?
Yeah.
But, you know, we all know winning runs come to an end eventually. Why not next week? You know, would be my take on it. And, you know, so for my money, let's go for it next week. Let's see what we can do. You know, I think you know the title is Man City's to lose. I mean, I think they're a long way ahead of anybody else.
Yeah.
You see what Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City are doing this afternoon. They are absolutely putting Aston Villa to the sword. I mean, they're getting the business done early, because what they're doing is they're saying we can see there's going to be a bit of a scrap for fourth spot. Chelsea want it, Liverpool want it, West Ham United want it. You know, Everton might still have aspirations of it, but I'm not sure they're quite close enough. I think it's probably 3 clubs fighting out for the fourth spot. Okay? But Leicester are basically saying we don't want to get dragged into that battle for fourth. We're making sure that we're finishing further up than that. And I think David Moyes probably needs to get that message across to the players next week, which is, do you know what? Try and get the third spot. Don't, you know, if don't bank on just sneaking into fourth spot, you know, like a boy coming in late at night. Is try and win the game against Man City. And it's been a long time since we've been able to even have that thought. And just to leave people on a more positive train of thought as well, if I can, this afternoon, we touched on the chairman's lack of investment and can he actually change his spots and so forth. Do you know what? If we finish in the top 4, if I was looking to sell a football club, I'll sell it with a wafer-thin squad that's just qualified for the Champions League. So I could say, look at all the upside. Yeah. Now give me £500 million and I'll go. And he might just get lucky with some American investor who'll take a punt on that basis. So Champions League qualification would have more than just good news for the team and David Moyes. Maybe the supporters could actually look forward to a new owner next season as well, because that would be the peak moment to sell in the Golden Sullivan era. Why not? So let's go for it. Beat Man City, and it puts us closer to getting Sullivan out the door. That's, and I don't want that to sound negative, but you know, if he's not going to fund the squad for a season in the Premier League properly, he sure as shit isn't going to fund the squad for a season in the Champions League, is he? Because he can't. He hasn't got the money.
Yeah. Yeah, well, of course, we shall see what happens. But I just like the fact that we're all sitting here talking about, you know, going to Man City with a chance, which is something that, Gnome, I'm sure at the start of the season we wouldn't have, you know, sort of envisaged, especially at this stage of the season, 25 games in. But here we are, West Ham, Man City. What do you reckon?
It's nice to be going up there with no sense of trepidation at the moment. I mean, yeah, the last couple of seasons, it's been, oh dear, how are we going to be able to keep it? There was a run, wasn't there? Every time we went up there, we lost 5-0. And I don't think that's going to happen this time around. So I want to see a decent performance. Now, if that's a battling performance like it was today, and we come out with something, but we've worked our socks off, that's one thing. If we can do enough to actually go out and maybe get something from the game, even better. But it's going to be about the performance. It's going to be about, dare I say it, making it as difficult for them as possible. But yeah, let's go up there. Let's, a bit like the league in general. That's another game out of the way. Well, let's get this one out of the way and see what we get at the end of it. I mean, like today, it was like, all joking apart and laughing at Tottenham apart, it was a case of Tottenham, you know, it can be a decent team on their day. So let's sort of not worry about them. Let's get the game out of the way and have a look at the table. Game out of the way, look at the table, we're fourth. Yeah, that's how we should be looking at next week. only obviously with a much better team that we're facing. You know, you just look at the players they've got in, and you know they're not missing somebody like De Bruyne, who I think is, for me, is probably one of the best players, if not the best player in the league when he's fit. And you know, he's injured, and it's kind of like, oh, De Bruyne's injured. Oh, well, so what? Now, we're worrying every week about whether or not Antonio's hamstrings are holding out.
Yeah.
They can afford to miss someone of De Bruyne's quality and still not bat an eyelid. Well, says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, we should actually point out as well, we haven't spoken about Antonio. Have we played the full 90 minutes today? And fortunately, they did hold out. He was okay.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't getting up to him an awful lot in the second half, I have to say. But first half, he did, you know, we said at the time, every time the ball came to him, and he was getting it. He was making things happen. It wasn't always just relying on service. There were times that they were dithering on the ball and he'd go in and put a tackle in and start things up. So first half particularly, which, in terms of the game was a lot more even than the second perhaps. But it's good to see him get through the 90 minutes. And it clearly wasn't it wasn't even considered taking him off. At that point. So,
good stuff. Yeah, good stuff all round. We're happy. We're all very happy. We've just beaten Tottenham. Of course, we're happy. 4 points off the Spurs this year, Rio. Not bad. Bragging rights, of course, once again. But Man City to come, a much bigger test for the Hammers next week when we go and face City up there away. What do you reckon? What do you make of that one? You know, could West Ham surprise us yet again?
This whole season's about been breaking hoodoo, surprising people, battling against the odds. You know, nothing's impossible. You just look at our Man City side and what they normally have on their bench in terms of player value, and I mean, how much do they spend on centre halves last summer?
Yeah,
more than we probably spent on our whole squad. And
more than we spent on Craig.
Strange seasons. Anything? Yeah, just a touch. Yeah. No. The archetypal Premier League Sky era club that has been skewed financially, and in terms of finance, they're a million miles ahead of us. In terms of performance and ability-wise, there's nothing to say we can't go up there and, you know, put a shot to the system, disrupt their flow towards the title. It's West Ham. This is what we do. Now we go up and we put a cat amongst the pigeons every now and then. So nothing's impossible. It's incredibly unlikely, but you just never know, do you? I've got a little footnote about our Hotspur opponents today.
Yes, buddy.
If you want to add that a little bit afterwards.
Yep.
Now, I mentioned in the week why I hate Tottenham, you know, and Pinky backed me up. It's the delusions of grandeur. It's like the self-entitlement. Oh, we're so much better than anyone else. We deserve this. We deserve that. And their last title was in 1961. Now, since then, the Berlin Wall's been built. It's been dismantled. We put a man on the moon. We're putting bloody cars on Mars now. The internet's been invented. There's even colour television. No? England managed to win a World Cup in 3 different disciplines. Even little old West Ham have won 3 FA Cups. No? Who's the most who's the most important? Why don't you care about us when you've got a 820-page plus thread on why we should laugh at West Ham? Is it our cup final or is it yours? Answer me that, Tottenham, please. Good night.
Just chip in here.
No.
Can I point out that I'm probably the only person on this podcast who was actually alive when they won the league? Genuinely, I was.
Very true, but only barely though. Of course, you know you were.
Yeah, I mean, if you say if you say middle of May, I was probably about a month old, but I was alive.
Amazing. There you go. Gnome giving away his secrets live on air on KUMB TV. That is just about it for today. My thank you to the rest of the team here at KUMB. It's been, of course, it's been thoroughly enjoyable. As I'm going to say it again, we've just beaten Tottenham. My thank you going, thanks going to Rio, to the Pink Palermo, and to Gnome this afternoon. Thank you also, of course, to everybody who's joined us throughout the afternoon live on the stream. We thoroughly appreciate your company and enjoy reading all your comments throughout the game. It is the 21st of the 2nd, 21. West Ham have won 2-1, which is a nice little stat, isn't it? Tottenham, you just got caned. You did, and I can say it. I've been looking forward to saying that all day. You just got caned. Looking forward to seeing what the two guys over at Spurs have got to say about it. Anyway, I'm off to write this week's opposition view, which is going to be an absolute joy once again. And that's it from all of us from here at KUMB. Until next week, until Man City, come on, you Irons.